Hey, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Superhero Speak. I'm your host, Dave.
And I'm John.
And I'm Don.
So here we go. We promised that JD was returning for this episode, but it doesn't look like it is at the moment. So I don't know what's going on. Maybe he'll sneak in, maybe he won't. But shall soldier on, as the saying goes. How is everyone doing? John, I'm going to start with you this week. I have an ulterior motive for that. How are you? What's new in your world?
Well, I'm a little better. I mean, I'm still getting over the fact that I lost one of my cats. The other one is doing much better. And they just finished all the upgrades on my house, and I am done with upgrades on my house. So I owe a lot of money. But I have a healthy cat, and otherwise, yeah, like that's about it. Don't know. There's not much more to report.
Okay.
Yeah, well, which is good.
Bored.
I mean, not having much to report is good.
Yeah, at this point, definitely. All right. How about you, Don? Anything exciting going on with you? Any playing any new video games lately?
Well, unfortunately, because apparently I'm some fucking boomer, no. Because I still couldn't figure out that whole thing. But you know, the main topic did come out, and I'm excited to talk about that. And my camera just shook there. So anyone that causes any problems medically, I'm sorry. Blame it on my cat because he's being psycho. And may just make an appearance at this point. Who knows?
That's standard.
But hey, what about you, Dave? How was your week? Yeah.
I'm doing really good. Okay, so what I was getting at, we had gotten an invitation to do a closed beta for Marvel Rivals, and I had gotten a couple extra codes, and I gave one to Don for him to try, and one to my son. My son and I have played, so he was able to download it on his computer, and I was able to get it on the PS5 and play it on there. I did not on that again.
Matrix. Oh, there it is again. Oh my God.
What is going on here? So those who don't know, Marvel Rivals, it's a game that's been announced a while ago. They're currently in beta, obviously. I think it's supposed to come out later this year. I think it's a holiday release. And for those who played, what's the name of the game?
Overwatch.
Clone. Yes. It is very much an Overwatch clone. You play on teams of 4, and there's like a capture the flag game or a kill the area, defeat the other team, like different matches. It's 4-on-4, and there are heroes that are heroes that are tanks, and then heroes that are just fighters. And
DPS,
it's interesting. Yeah. Hopefully you can download it and play it a little bit. I played it for about 2 hours. Played a couple different matches. I'm not a big like online fighting other people player.
Yeah. No, because there's always too many people that are way better than you.
That's a guilty pleasure of mine.
Yeah.
Overwatch actually was very fun. And looking at the roster of people that are going to in the game are going to be in the game, I was like, sweet. But yeah, I actually like those games, even though I'm not saying I'm good. And, you know, a bunch of people call me, you know, piece of shit, whatever, go die. You know what they do in game lobbies. But I don't care about any of that, though. I just have fun. And so the Marvel version of that, particularly when I see there's Magic and Magneto, and I assume other X-Men, including Colossus, who's certainly going to be a tank, like, it does look fun. So hopefully I do figure it out. Yeah. Or if anyone out there in Marvel wants to help me out, yeah.
I'd give it a go if you give me a key.
They actually just added 2 characters today. One's a Deadpool character. I thought my son said Peter, but it wasn't. I can't remember which character said the shark. He's in the Deadpool books. Something the shark, and then the other character was Thor, and Thor's a tank. So the other guy's just a fighter. Rocket's a healer. Jeff, that's it.
Support, yeah.
Yes, Jeff the shark.
The land shark, yeah.
Yes.
Sounds a lot like Jump the Shark. That's funny.
Well, that is Deadpool. Deadpool is a shark jumper.
Sorry,
Thanks,
John and Thrawn are having a good conversation about Dogpool. We will be getting Dogpool. Don't worry. So yeah. So I liked it. I mean, I'll say this about the game. One of the aspects I was kind of hoping each character does different. Like it's not all the fighters feel the same, all the tanks feel the same. So that's good. Like in a game like this, you want Spider-Man to feel different than the Punisher, right? Mm-hmm. But so with that comes difficulty level, not like they're difficult to beat when you go against them. They're difficult to use. So Spider-Man's one of the high difficulty level because he doesn't have a lot of health, and he has like all these weird moves that you got to know the weird moves to be able to be good with them. Where Punisher is like, and it's a star rating. So Spidey's like 4 stars, and Punisher's 1 star because he's just run and gun. That's it. He's got a couple special moves, but his mainly just running and gunning, and he has a high energy level. So you can play with him.
Fortnite could run that one.
Yeah. So it's a lot of like they asked us to play it. They asked us to talk about it on the show. It's a fun game. Like when it comes out, I highly recommend it, especially if you're an Overwatch fan and a Marvel fan. Like this game is made for you. I think it's definitely something to check out. So that's what I did this week. Plus, obviously, went and saw a movie that we'll be talking about in a little bit, and watched all of the crazy news that came out of San Diego, which, oh boy, we're gonna get into that. Kind of feel like that's why our good friend is not here this week. And yeah, that's about it. I'm not get a dirty dad joke for the week because I normally do that after dinner, but I went to my girlfriend's for dinner tonight and got home like right before we got on. So sorry, there's no dirty joke of the week unless one of you guys have one.
Bad. Oh, what a shame.
What a shame. But there is a tiny bit of medium in this, okay? Because I wanted to highlight this. We had talked about the Acolyte last week, heavily about the Acolyte because it was the finale. And one of the things that you said, John, was, well, they're breaking their own rules. And then Don said, it's a show about space wizards with laser swords. There are no rules. So that was the clip that was posted on TikTok. And it's one of our most viral posts ever. It's got 3,000 views, which is a lot for us.
Let's face it. Anybody who posted anything about it, anybody who posted anything about Acolyte is getting, historic views at this point.
56 comments, and it's funny that people they're torn on this. There's a lot of back and forth. So
yeah,
Trey said there are no rules. It's fantasy. Only because the Force is a soft magic system. The only rule is that power corrupts. Shin says, I never understood why Force choking and Force works. Wouldn't it be a tug of war with the Force at that point? I find it very hard to believe a Jedi Master would lose to an Acolyte.
Yeah.
And then Pulse 1808 said, it's almost like it's all made up. This is insane. The rules are all arbitrary. Why couldn't the Master, this is Kilroy 04, why can't the Master Jedi catch other knife while holding the first one in space? Joshua O'Neill said, what rules is he talking about that are being broken? And I think what you're getting at is there are some canon rules that I feel like they didn't follow. The bleeding of they did show the bleeding in one of the comic books, and they did it differently in the show.
Again,
unfortunate events that are on.
Again, without rules, there's no reason to care, because if there are no rules, there's no stakes. If there's no stakes, then you're just watching a bunch of moving pictures. You're not living a story. But
the guy in the black hat, which was you, Don, doing the Lord's work. That's from Darth Dune. Bro never played Survivor, and it shows. That's from Nerf Herder. What is? Oh, Jedi Survivor. Okay. But trying to find, there was like, okay, Tall Mara said this isn't D&D. There isn't a rule book, but then was it a reply to her? I shift to the 3 FFG Star Wars, the role-playing game core rule books on my shelf.
yeah. Or you go to Wikipedia, which is the record of the history and everything, and then you watch them changing it in real time, which means that, again, no rules.
So yeah, no rule.
He just said it. Thank you. He just said it. Because I'm going to say on this, because I'm not going to, but they set new rules, and that makes them uncomfortable. Because what I'm seeing is this show absolutely introduces new canon, and people, John, freaking out about it. So I'm sitting here waiting for it. So thank you. That's what the problem. I'm not going there. That's where the line is. I think.
Yeah, let's let this one lie. And again, like Don and I are going to disagree on this, and that's fine, because it still brings him joy, and it should. Because that's what we're geeks for. We're geeks because we watch stuff that brings us joy. So, but we have something bigger to talk about. So I don't want to spend any more time on this. This has been done to death.
Thing I wanted to say on this, and I'm really upset that JD's not here, because it's his line that he uses every time in these situations, and he asks the question, "How do you kill a vampire?" or "How do you kill a werewolf?" Right? Because in every vampire story, it's different because they change the rules, but along with that, though, they set up a rule in the beginning of the series, and they have to follow it through.
Right, which is what Kassan was getting to. You have to maintain your own internal logic, because if you keep breaking your own internal logic, then there is no logic, and the story doesn't matter anymore. And if the story doesn't matter, why should people care about it?
But I feel like the thing. Here's my final take on it, and agree or disagree with it. I believe most franchises like this have a Bible, right? We all know there's a Star Trek Bible, where it's these things have happened, so these are the rules of how things work. I know Doctor Who has a Bible. So these
Well, I mean, Doctor Who's Bible is not a Bible. Like Doctor Who is one of those shows where logic really doesn't matter, because they change things, and J.J. Abrams and Paramount are killing Star Trek's Bible. So I don't know what matters
they changed
anymore.
Things. Well, they did change things with Doctor Who about a decade ago, I guess, and broke all the existing rules that we all believed were the Doctor Who rules.
They broke what few rules it had, and with Timeless Child, and people still don't like what they did. So.
But I feel like what they did with this show is took things that maybe weren't as established as rules yet and kind of worked around them. And then, but the problem is that it's a prequel. So it's like, this is where you would be setting up the rule. So, I mean, I can see why people are upset about it.
That's an excellent point. Don, if they had done this after all the movies, like they had started changing things like that, then it's like, okay, this is history in that universe evolving. Fine. But if they're doing it as prequels, they're messing with the current movies that are already out, which means, it's like It's like when Star Trek did Enterprise.
It's almost like the people in charge and responsible for the data are fucking idiots. And so stuff doesn't get passed off right to the next generation.
That never occurred to me. I mean, you're right.
And that's point
right,
number two.
Right.
People are uncomfortable with some Jedi, not all, being incompetent or sometimes shady. That's the other thing with the show that really makes people uncomfortable.
I mean, there were.
Well, and
there had to.
I will say that, like, everyone's upset because they're showing Jedi in a bad light in this. True, but it's only 4 Jedi. It's not, and a couple on the council, but like, it's not like they showed every Jedi being screwed up, you know.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Okay. All right. I get your point, son. Move along. All right. That was all the social media madness I wanted to do this week. I wanted to keep it short because we do have a lot to get to.
Oh boy, do we!
So that's the last stink of the Acolyte fart that you shall smell.
Oh, I doubt
Fair
it.
enough.
I doubt it. I think there will be a season 2. All right. So with all that
I think they're going to do it
just
to spite. Just for spite, there's going to be a season 2.
On that note, if you'd like to be a part, follow us on social media, be a part of social media madness, or listen to some other great podcasts, here's our good friend Don to tell you more.
You enjoying the show? Do you want to be part of social media madness? Easy peasy. Head on over to superheroespeak.com. You'll find all the links to our social media. You'll find the show uploaded there as well. Comic reviews by Chris. You can even go in the archives and find old comic reviews by yours truly. Absolutely. So again, that's superheroespeak.com. Make sure and check that out. Make sure to engage on our social media. Speaking of social media, you know, Superhero Speak is part of the Geek World All-Star Podcast Network. That podcast network includes great shows like the Pop Prison Power Podcast, Colt 45, Fans on Patrol, the Gorilla Brain Podcast, the So Wizard Podcast, and Superhero Speak. That's right. You go to the X-Men app, the X app, hashtag GW All-Stars, and you will not be disappointed. And you might as well do it before that app is dead. Well, listen, now it's time to go back to the show, and I'm going to be looking to see if JD makes a comment about sex or doing something to a woman's anatomy to see if John gets flustered or beat red, while at the same time speaking with confidence and zeal when he's talking about Pinkie Pie, Rainbow Dash, and the rest of the My Little Pony crew. Back to the show.
I set that one up in honor of JD, and you know, it's not here.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
I don't have the presentation like Don. Give me Dark
Don.
But I'll do that. I'll try my best to do that, but I literally have to wait for it to be nighttime out before I can do that because I just have a window right here. Anyway,
that's why I've got blackout curtains. But what I also would like to say, if you've gotten this far into the podcast and you haven't done so yet, please click the subscribe button. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live here on Sunday nights or any of our other videos. You can catch them when they go up. Also, smash that like button. Smasturbate that like button because it really helps with the algorithm. And if you are so inclined, please check out our merch store. Pick up a Superhero Speak t-shirt today. That really does help us out and helps us to continue to do this lovely show for you people. All right. Anything interesting going on with the Omega level nerds there, Donnie boy?
Oh, we talked for over an hour about the finale and Acolyte show as a whole. So, if you want to get deep into it like that, and we go hard. We don't have a T'Challa button. We do go there. For better or for worse. So check out Omega Level Nerds on YouTube if you want to see us beat a horse, all the way dead.
Yes.
I never liked that saying, but
What are you gonna do? I
You gotta laugh. His cheap laugh. That's all.
well, John's a horse guy, so that's why he doesn't like to say.
I'm
All right. Well, on that note, we'll take a quick commercial break. Be back. Wow, that was wrong.
Yeah.
Be back
Be back.
with
Yes, we're
some
whack.
San Diego Comic-Con news.
Some podcasts are like this.
What's the animal in this world that you fear the least? Fish. Animal. Fish. Don't start. Don't. You're starting, and I'm not.
A fish is an animal.
No, it's not. I'm talking about an animal, like a real animal, like
Fish. Fish.
No, you're
Fish is
being
animal.
hard-headed. I'm talking about that's like saying like an ant. That's not an animal. That's a sea creature.
What? It's a sea creature. A fish is an animal.
You can't go to the zoo and see a fish. They don't have zoo fishes.
There's actually so many fishes.
There's fish zoos. You can go to a fish zoo.
No,
Oh.
there's so many fish that they have their own f***ing attraction called an aquarium.
No, they don't. No, that's different. That's like sharks and shit. Those are animals.
Fish.
No,
Fish!
No, that's why they have different names. Sharks and fish. Why are you being political? I'm talking about an animal like a monkey, zebra, tiger, bear.
Okay.
And some podcasts are like this.
What's your take?
Since the fucking pandemic, everyone and their mother went on Amazon, got a microphone, got the whole kit set up, little filter, and now it's like they're important and we want to hear what they have to say about food, sports, culture. Who gives a
You don't like podcasts.
No, I think it's people fucking jerking themselves off on the air to pretend they're doing something with their life.
If you already have a podcast, you can keep doing it, but it should be illegal to start a new podcast.
Get if you like doing like social justice or covering like current events, but just to talk about stupid sports, food, this and that is garbage, bro.
Wait, do you have a podcast?
Fuck out of here, bro.
You're on a podcast right now.
I'm happy to participate in this one and let you know how I feel about all these jamooks out here running around thinking there's somebody important, like we want to listen to what they have to say.
What's a jamook?
Jamook, lame-brained. You know a jamook? A person of mental or physical incompetence due to their own lack of grace or social aptitude.
I like this definition. Jamook. Idiot, loser, lame-brained, a jamook.
Yeah.
But only one podcast is where you can get in-depth analysis like this.
They're breaking down the U.S. Phillips and the top brass are talking about what the fuck happened. And Phillips is like, look, bro, I wanted an army of you assholes, not just you. Go fuck out of here. I don't care. But the Senator Brandt, I was like, hold on, fam. I see opportunity.
Hey, we got a guy here. It's a super soldier.
I see a big, greasy, sweaty, swole, sexy man right here. We're going to slap you on some labels, bitch. About to walk this track for America.
Yeah. Shake your ass on the curb for America.
Bounce that ass for the U.S. of A.
Bounce that ass for the
I want dancing girls.
dancing girls. And America's ass.
You are now listening to Call 45.
This is Beat 'em Down.
And I'm Random Randy Savage.
Find us on all your podcatching apps like Podbean or Spotify, and follow us on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, or just go to www.cult45podcast.com.
Also, check out our YouTube for that sweet, sweet video content.
Cult 45, the only podcast that puts hair on your chest.
Don, Kassan has a question for you. Don, when will you do live shows? I really like live shows. I have to piss Dave with my antics.
Quick answer, I don't know. I really don't. We did live shows before, but I really like to be able to edit where necessary and maybe put stuff in there, clips, pictures sometimes. So, yeah, I don't know. The answer somewhere between I don't know and never, which I'm sure is not what you want to hear, but there's a whole technical thing to it. That shit crashes. Like, I got good internet for the most part, but I don't know. It just is way easier to tape it, to make sure it's clean. I like to add music and shit to it that, again, you can do live, but it's just way more complicated. And I'm just a simple jamook. So, I don't really want to introduce any other risk.
All right. So, the news. You know what, guys? I've been thinking for a long time. What is DC's biggest problem when it comes to comics and movies and everything going on. And I know the answer. James Gunn hit the nail on the head. They had to bring back the classic logo. You know, that was it. That was like,
well, that fixes everything.
Okay, so to be fair, I'll be that guy. I'll be that guy, though. I don't think it's going to fix everything. I do think it's a nice return. I do. I like it. I like the move, but again, not in the guise of this is going to fix everything, because it's not. You got to have good stories. And again, in my opinion, $5 a pop, horrible pacing in general, comics in general. Nothing's going to bring that back unless they restructure. So logo's not going to do it, but I appreciate the nostalgia factor of it. So take that for what it is.
Like, that's the way I look at it. Like, oh, okay, they back to the classic logo. It's a nice nostalgia thing. It draws in guys like us who read the comics back then when that was the main logo and all that stuff. But, like, why was this Comic-Con worthy news? Like, why did they make a big announcement in a Hall H panel? Like, here, we're going back to the logo, and then we're using this logo for the movies. Like, I don't get why fanfare around changing the logo back. You know,
we are why.
We are why.
Internet talking nerd heads are why. They know
you're
they do this.
You're the DC guy, John. I mean, did you like that they went back to the classic logo?
It's a trick. It's just a trick to try and drum up people's interest while they're retooling. They should have waited until like they had a movie in the can and ready to go out, you know, to use this as like a ramp to get people, you know, because them switching to the old logo is going to make the rounds. You know, you don't want to do that too early, or else the interest subsides before you've got something to take that interest and use it for. So, you know, and I haven't heard anything yet. I haven't heard anything yet from SDC that suggested that they had something to use this interest for. You know?
Yeah, I mean, if they released
if they released a new trailer for the new Superman movie or something like that, you know, then fine.
Right.
But
that's what I was about to get at. I kind of feel like they didn't have as much ready for Comic-Con as they wanted. So it was like, all right, well, let's try to make a big deal about the logo to change, you know. We did get a trailer, though. Speaking of DC, we got the first trailer for Creature Commandos, which is going to be the next series. It is the first official series from the new DU. Like, so this does tie in to everything else. In fact, I can't remember the actress's name who plays Amanda Waller, but she's the voice in this show, so like it does tie in that way. And I don't know, it was interesting. I get why it's a cartoon, why it's an animated series, because the budget to have all of these characters and CGI'd and looking good through a series probably is a lot of money. And they're not doing a movie because they probably don't know if it would make money or not. I get it, but I don't like the idea of a cartoon that ties into like the bigger universe. I don't know, weird that way. What did you guys think?
I guess that really.
Actually,
I could care less about the property, I guess. I really don't have an opinion on it. I get what you're saying though about, why have the animated universe and the cinematic universe be intertwined. I get that. I'm not quite sure what the answer is there though. And so I don't know, it could be great. It could be a really awesome story. And, there's a Peacemaker show out there and people like it. My wife's one of them. She doesn't give a shit about superheroes or comic books really, unless it's like a movie or something or a show like Peacemaker that makes her laugh. But something tells me it's not going to be
No, and like the whole line of like we weren't allowed to experiment on humans anymore. So these are not humans; they're creatures. And I was like, oh, okay,
Yeah, right.
Like we're skirting the line. Thrawn likes peace too.
Yeah, well,
It's a funny show. It's awesome.
oh, Thrawn kill, nice icon by the way. Dog pool, very nice. Yeah, I like the animations. Like their animations, by and large, have always been pretty good. So I'll watch this one. That said, I haven't had time to finish off Suicide Squad Isekai. So I am rededicating myself to finishing it this week. I will watch this one, this new Suicide Squad, because it looks like it might be fun. You know, who mentioned this it was Thronkill who mentioned that Mark Waid is doing Justice League Unlimited.
Yeah.
In comic form, not a continuation of Bruce Timm's animated show. So, I mean, that may be interesting, but wasn't that just called Justice? Normally, I just, like DC keeps making these missteps. The only thing they've got going for them right now is their animated shows, which have been really good. Although you can still see too much interference from the studio with like taking the new animated universe that they had running for only 4 years and ending it right away because we're retooling for the new live action stuff. It's like you shouldn't be. You should keep them separate, because didn't you see what happened with Marvel? And you can't have two. Like Kevin Feige burned himself out because he was just handling too much and couldn't keep the storyline straight through too many properties. You gotta I don't know, you gotta pace yourself. Anyway, so yeah, I'll watch it.
That's exactly. In fact, speaking of Marvel, they had some big news that came out of Comic-Con. We're going to start with they gave us. Now, they didn't officially release it. I did see a leaked version. It's not really a trailer for Fantastic Four.
It was a concept.
It's kind of like,
right?
It's a concept thing. Like, do you know those old like 60s shows you would watch? It was kind of, sometimes it's like a propaganda film, or it's like, or like the history, or like here's what's going on, newsreel thing. Like that's the kind of feel it has. It's, you see,
here's the Fantastic Four. See them as they blast off. Yeah.
Yes, exactly. Like that's the whole thing. Like that's how they're talking in it. They
Give
show
me old
them.
Donnybrook.
Right.
So you get to see them as the characters, which looks really good. The Thing actually looks really good in it. The little bit they show. The two things that came out of it, news-wise, to me, is number one, we got the official title, which is Fantastic Four: First Steps. It starts off with Reed is teaching a class, and he's talking about multiverses. Not only
we knew that was going to happen. So
not only are there multiple universes, but there are Earths that are parallel to ours. And he's like teaching a class of little kids. I can't wait till one of the Marvel characters faces off against Dr. Doom and falls to their knees crying, "Your face, why do you look so much like him? Why do you wear we'll talk about that in a second." The other thing that came from that clip that no one was really talking about, because I don't think you were allowed to, at the very end, you see Galactus. Like, not a cloud, not a dust cloud.
Yeah.
Honest to God, you see his face. Like you're looking through a window and you see giant face coming up under the window, and it was like, oh, cool. Like that got me excited. Like I want to see a live action Galactus. it looks like it's future tech in the 60s era. Yes, very much so. Like you've got like Stark Expo from the when they were showing in the past from Captain America First Avenger, and he's at the Stark Expo, and they had not Tony, what's Tony's father's name?
Howard Stark.
Howard showing this flying car and and all that kind of like future tech stuff that was going on. Yeah, so that's there's a Fantastic car which looks like a 60s or 50s Studebaker, but it's a flying car, so yeah, definitely has that feel to it. The only thing I didn't like, and then you guys can tell me if you saw any of it and what you thought, is Pedro Pascal didn't shave his mustache. And I'm not a big fan of Reed Richards with a mustache. Like, it's just weird to me. I like Pedro Pascal. I'm kind of like up to the idea of him playing Reed Richards, but he didn't shave his damn mustache. Come on. Reed's never had a mustache in the comics. So
I think a later Reed Richards. I think I've seen Reed Richards.
I can't think of.
We saw him with a beard in Multiverse of Madness.
That.
Yeah,
and nobody said a word. So I think
we were all shocked by Krasinski did it.
True. And Krasinski's face, well, I mean, the beard kind of, that's like the icing on the cake for that man meat. But it's just, I think as long as they give us a good read, we'll be like, you just won't even notice it. Because actually, if you think about Pedro Pascal with a mustache, and some scruff, like that's him, I'm
thinking back to the old 60s Batman TV series with who played the Joker, very famous Latin actor,
Cesar Romero.
Cesar Romero.
And he wouldn't shave his mustache.
He refused to shave his mustache.
They put white cake on it.
You watch your mouth. That's my Joker, sir.
He was a good Joker. He really was a good Joker.
Sound like my older brother. So, what do you think, Don? You excited for the Fantastic Four?
Yeah, I'm excited to see what it could mean. I'll talk about this a little bit, but I'm done with the multiverse, and that's kind of affecting my outlook when it comes to my excitement for Marvel movies. So I like, though, that I think it's a real good sign, rather, that they are going back to the 60s aesthetic. And I think Pedro Pascal will make a good Reed Richards. Galactus in the first movie, I'm just not sure yet. Because are they really going to do the ultimate nullifier thing? And if not, how is the Fantastic Four?
I feel like they showed him in that clip, but I have a feeling if he's in it, it's a tease at the end. You know what I'm saying? I don't think he's the main villain in the first one.
They don't storyline as their first. They need something to hook us. And if they redo the storyline, it would be okay, but not great. And I think they want great for the first outing of the Fantastic Four, because after Fan Four Stick, they've got some makeup to do. So, I mean, I would go with Galactus after that, and they could still tie it in with the Celestials, somehow. Maybe Galactus comes down to see why is there a big Celestial sticking out of this planet?
I heard that actually the next Captain America is going to deal with that.
Yeah, we did see it in the background of the trailer. Yeah.
Yes, there's a lot of rumors about that. So fingers crossed, because that's one of those holes. It's like, really, you did it, and then you just left us hanging. All right, this ties into what we're about to talk about after we're done with the news. Kevin Feige said at San Diego Comic-Con he's in no hurry to recast Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. He said eventually he would like a younger actor in the role, but right now yeah, he's not too quick to recast Wolverine.
Okay. I'd have a comment about that, but it would be a spoiler. Well, maybe not a spoiler. Like,
Well, I mean, everyone has seen, everyone knows this is in the movie. Disney's gonna have you doing this for 90.
yeah, and also Wolverine is in universe 10,000, or is it
5
10,009
10
10,095.
10005. That's what they kept saying.
1,000,000. Right. So so Wolverine's there. So technically they don't have to cast Wolverine just yet until until Hugh Jackman takes the Robert Downey Jr. Trip of, you know what? I'm not making enough money, so I'm gonna quit until you guys back another dump truck full of cash up to my front door.
Oh my god. Yeah.
Spockensy of which.
all right. Don, before we get to the last story though, you're the man, you're the Wolverine guy. And we all love Hugh Jackman, but he's 55,
Mm-hmm. 55 with those abs? Jesus Christ, I feel inadequate.
Oh, I'm watching so many interviews, and he was like, it was so hard to get back into that shape for this movie. But yeah,
yes,
and
it was
I get it.
Hard to get back into that shape. You know that for most human beings, that's impossible. Holy mother!
Don says you will retire as Wolverine in 10 years at 65 and then be recast as Magneto. Oh my god!
Here for that.
Okay.
I mean, since we're doing this shit anyway, why not? Or we're not there yet.
Nice segue,
yes,
and also commentary.
But real,
so as far as the Wolverine recast,
yes,
I'm actually really cool with this because it means one or two things, and I'm fine with either. Either one, Hugh Jackman's maybe not done. And can you tell his age when he has the mask on? I don't want to get too much into that because I have some stuff to say about the whole Wolverine mask on stuff. So either A, we've decided that Hugh Jackman's going to be our Wolverine going forward, or B, and this is the more likely, he just had his swan song. We're gonna let the character just rest for a little bit.
Well, until Deadpool violates his body again, but okay.
But we will talk about that, I'm sure. So that's how I feel. So I'm for this, whether it means they're really not going to recast him and we're just going to keep the actor, or the character is just going to go away for a little bit. It's going to simmer down. 5 years later, we'll get some up and coming dude that you all love, and here we go, bada bing, bada boom. Because the X-Men should be in full swing, or really not. It's going to be more Secret Wars and shit. So I don't know what the fuck to do with the X-Men in the MCU at this point. It's kind of annoying. So anyway, yeah. I like it though. I don't want to see a new Wolverine right away.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing too. I kind of feel like, regardless of the future of Hugh Jackman, I do think to recast him this quick after this movie would also be a bad idea. So, like, yeah, I think maybe that's really where that came from. It's like, yeah, let's let this sit for a little bit. Like, if you want to do it anymore, he's not going to do it anymore. But
yeah, how do you?
I'm not going to announce. I'm not going to announce we're looking for a new Wolverine while this is the biggest movie on the planet. And because he's in it. So yeah. All right. We got to talk about
it. Plus, he's like, you see how well this thing's doing? He's going to want way too fucking much,
Fair enough.
We got to talk about this. The really big news to come out of San Diego Comic-Con this year. So the Russo brothers are definitely in for the next two Avengers movies. They are directing the next two Avengers movies. The Fantastic Four will be featured in the next two Avengers movies. That was also stated, and the next Avengers movie is going to be called Doomsday. Right? There's no more Kang Dynasty. They put it to bed. They built up Kang, and then they crapped him out because of what happened to the actor instead of recasting.
Well, the ants
Whatever.
crapped him out. They're the ones that finished him off, apparently.
And we got our Doctor Doom as cast for Doomsday. Stunt casting at its finest, people. Robert Downey Jr. is back in the MCU as Victor Von Doom.
I thought this was a joke when I saw it start blowing up on the internet.
I thought it was a joke. I thought maybe Marvel's trying to pull a fast one, and it was like, nope, he's back.
I heard reports that people in the audience were like, "Okay, that's funny, but it's great. We got to see Robert Downey Jr. So like, this is a joke, right? He's gonna say, "Oh no, just joking." The real guy's gonna come out or something like that. And no, that did not happen.
Now
it's gonna be him.
We will preface this conversation with there is a storyline in the comics where Tony Stark does become Dr. Doom.
True.
But they did not say he's Tony Stark as Dr. Doom. They said he's Victor Von Doom. There is another storyline where they switched minds, and that was in an alternate universe. Again, they haven't really said that. They said he's playing Victor Von Doom. I don't know what they're doing with this. This is crazy.
Do you think he's doing it just for Secret Wars? The only thing that makes sense, because Robert Downey Jr. is 59 years old. Secret Wars is a little bit away. He's going to be way too old before he actually comes out as Dr. Doom in these movies. He's got maybe 2 movies left before he's really too old to do this. So
being a mask.
Well, yeah, he'll be in a mask. I know, but still, maybe they could do it. Maybe they're doing it just because of the storyline of Secret Wars is that Dr. Doom basically, became God Doom.
God Doom. He did so because it was basically down to him or Doctor Strange becoming God. Doctor Strange didn't want to become God. Doom did. And then,
and then they grabbed all the Beyonder power and he took it for himself. And that's
made Battle World. Yep. All the other universes collided, and he made
So maybe just for that, you guys are the Marvel guys. So.
Right. Well, no, this is fucking stupid. Okay. I'm just gonna. This is fucking dumb. Like, imagine if Lord of the Rings, we saw Boromir played by Sean Bean die, and then come back as one of the or one of the Rohirrim guys. You come back as Aramir or King Theoden, right? Like, imagine if he died as Boromir, and the next movie, I'm back, but I'm King Theoden now. Like, that is dumb. And I understand these are comics, and you're right. I'm not saying there's not comic precedents, but the last Avengers movie, Robert Downey Jr. died as Iron Man. The very next Avengers movie, he's going to be back as Dr. Doom. That's just so stupid. And again, multiverse, I get all that's just so fucking dumb.
It's got to be a trick. Like you guys said, there was a Tony Stark that became Doom. It's got to be like that's going to be the storyline, and then it's over, and then they'll cast a real Doom or something.
Here's the thing, and let me also say this: like, Don posted something on Twitter about this was a stupid idea. When I posted the article on our Twitter, I was like, WTF, because like this doesn't make any sense. And that's when JD messaged me and he was like, I don't think I'm going to come on the show because I don't want to fight. This is the article he was talking about, because he was one of the people that posted, like, oh, this is so great. This is wonderful. I've seen it mixed online. There are people who are like, oh, this is so cool. He's coming back. And then there are people who are like, this is dumb. This smells desperation. This feels like stunt casting. Here's what I'm going to say about it. And this is all in complete seriousness. Like, people like my girlfriend, Don's wife, your cat, people that are casual viewers of these movies, right? And there are people who haven't seen them all. There are people who like follow a couple of them or whatnot, but love Robert Downey Jr. and love the character of Iron Man. they're going to see this and they're going to be completely confused, right? There are already people who are checking out because the multiverse stuff is confusing to them. Like, how come Peter Parker's a different person in every universe, but Doctor Strange is the same person in every universe? Like, it gets confusing really quick to people, and they don't like to have to try to figure it out. So check it out. They check out. And this smells like, oh, our last couple movies didn't do as good as we wanted to. Want Robert back in. Robert doesn't want to play Iron Man anymore because Tony died. He wants to honor that. They don't want to do the AI thing. Oh, why don't you play Doom? Because we need a strong Doom. And it's just like, but people aren't going to go see your movie because they're going to be like, why the hell is Tony now a villain? And they're going to be like, I don't want to go see your movie. And you're ruining the introduction of Doctor Doom in the MCU by doing this stunt casting. Like, there are so many great actors out there that could have played a great Doctor Doom. And if you wanted to bring him back in a multiverse role as an evil Iron Man for one movie, great. Bringing him in as Doctor Doom is a terrible, terrible idea. You know?
Yeah. I mean, it is going to generate interest. It is really going to generate interest. But, I mean, still, I don't see how this can last very long, if at all. And to quote Deadpool, you want a cast that's going to screen test well and last for, last for 10 to 12 years in a franchise, right?
Yeah.
That ain't Robert Downey Jr. I mean, he's given us, he gave us everything. He had the perfect storyline for all of Marvel. Like, and how are they going to explain this if they can't keep him a mask the whole time?
Right. And I think RDJ in the next Wolverine too. Breaking news, that's his son. And John, you're making a great point too, right? Like, he's getting up there, and he's only going to come back for one, maybe two movies, and then be done again. Like, is Doctor Doom going to be a one and done? Like, everyone is excited to finally get Doom. They want him to be the next Loki of the MCU, the next great villain. Like, I don't mean Loki where he's got a story arc where he becomes a good guy at the end, but like a great villain arc.
Mm-hmm.
Have him last over several movies. We were going to get that with Kang, and then that fell apart because of the actor. So give us a great Doom. Don't give us a stunt casting that's going to be one movie. Like, you're going to disappoint the diehard fans, and you're going to confuse casual viewers. So it's a bad idea all around, and I don't know why there are people out there who don't see that right now.
Yeah, but did you hear the Hall H reaction? Who cares about logic? Yeah, but come on. Have you ever, like, you're there to be excited. You're just excited that something is fucking happening. So I don't know. I take it with a grain of salt.
Right. Like, if you're in Hall H, right, that's going to be exciting. But give it time, because a lot of these people are going to be having second thoughts afterwards. I would assume,
Right. Okay. So
once you think about it.
Yes, I that's kind of what maybe John was saying he was hoping for, right? Maybe he dies and another variant of Doom comes out at the end of the movie, and it's another actor.
Yeah, in the Secret Wars, right? That would be perfect. That would work.
Right. If he was just Doom in Secret Wars, it was a Doom or something. There's ways you could do it, but like I feel like they introduced him now as Doom because they introduced him now as Doom because he's going to be in the Fantastic Four movie in some capacity as Doom, and then he's going to be in the Avengers movie as Doom. So like that's why they had to say he's Doom now. But I don't know. It's frustrating. We'll have to see. Sorry, I got distracted because there's a spammer messaging us on Twitch.
Oh, good.
So
why? So
that stuff would work in a Deadpool 4. The jokes would hit hard.
Oh
Yes,
yeah, no,
but
that would be perfect. That would work awesome.
But
yeah.
this isn't a Deadpool movie. That's the thing, right? Like,
I mean, they even did that.
I don't know
that exact thing
gotta,
in this Deadpool movie, but we're going to talk about that like very soon now.
I have to ask. Like, I would love to ask Robert Downey Jr. what enticed him to come back as Doom too. Like, because there has to be in the back of his
he won
mind.
an Oscar, right? He won an Oscar,
Yeah.
right? Recently with Oppenheimer, I think, or some shit.
Oh yeah.
So right, he's climbed that mountain. So maybe he's just saying, "Hey, okay, I want to have some fun again, make some money," and thinks this will be a challenge. Maybe he's correct, but it's still just dumb. Like, there's so much you can make comic book sense of it all day long, but just really, like the last.
But the
like I said, we're going to get
like,
we're going to get a Dr. Dolittle 2 and 3 out of this. I mean, like, right?
Again, I got to get back to the casual viewer doesn't like it. They get confused by this stuff. They get pissed off.
Yeah, and that's the thing. They need new viewers. They need to start roping other people into this next phase.
That is another great thing, right? Because the kids coming up now who didn't watch all the movies, there's a huge barrier entry for the MCU at this point, that if you haven't seen all the movies, you get confused on what's going on. And there are kids that are just not going to sit down and watch 25 movies at this point to familiarize themselves with everything. Now you got to go watch some of the old X-Men movies too. Now that Deadpool and Wolverine are officially in the MCU, it's like, yeah, I don't know. Thrawn, when an actor becomes as large as RDJ, the audience associates him with a certain character. RDJ is Stark. Yeah, that is true. And I think that's a big, huge point. Oh yeah. Thrawn wants a Sherlock 3.
Yeah.
All right. So none of us think this is a good idea. I think we're going to have to keep an eye on it, see if any other news comes out about it before.
Well, it's not a good idea until it becomes a good idea. I'm hoping it's going to be a good idea, but not like a permanent idea. Like there's got to be a reason they did this. It would only work if the only reason it would work is if it was temporary. But anyway,
yeah, but I also think bringing him in as a temporary Doom is a bad idea as well, because it's just then like, wait, he was one movie Dr. Doom and now we're gonna have this other guy? Like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Unless they do the Council of Dooms, I don't know, like a play on the Council of Kangs.
This should be fun.
All right. Well, that's it. What do you guys think of this? Is it stunt casting? Is it brilliant? Is it the best idea ever? Let us know in the comments down below. Or over on social media. And maybe we will discuss it on the next episode. So on that note, we will take a really quick commercial break and be back with our review of Deadpool and Wolverine.
Back in civilian life, I wear a toupee. But nobody knows. Everybody knows. Go. Come on, girl! She's coming with us! No, she's not. Oh, yes, she is. No. Oh, yeah.
Al, I'm back. About damn time. You holding? I'm all out of devil's dandruff and I'm shaking like an angry vibrator.
Thank you, Al. We have company. Gracia.
Oh, that's Wolverine.
You're damn straight it is. Disney brought him back. They're gonna make him do this till he's 90.
Nice fake o'clock shadow.
It's a summer balayage from the French. It's meant to mimic the natural highlights of the sun.
It's a toupee.
It's a hair system.
I love your hair system, Wade.
Thank you.
Oh, let's fucking go! All right. We are here to talk about the biggest movie of 2024. Of course, that is Deadpool and Wolverine. before we get to all of it, we like to go over the numbers and what people are saying about this movie online. So first, I had posted numbers in the email. I wrote this email yesterday. Let me give you the updated box office numbers. As of this live stream, the movie has made $205 million domestically, $233.3 million international, so $438.3 million worldwide, made the biggest debut for an R-rated movie ever. So over on
Casting another Deadpool movie to do so, by the way.
Yes, surpassing the was it 2? I think it was 2. Over on the Rotten Tomatoes, it had a critic score of 80% and an audience score of 97%. So we couldn't take Rotten Tomatoes' word for it. So of course we did a patented superhero speak poll. Asked our audience over on X, what they thought of this movie, and I gave everyone 4 options. They could say Deadpool is Marvel Jesus, it was really good, it was meh, or I didn't care for it. And in order from lowest to highest, 7.6% people said I didn't care for it. I'm a little shocked by that. 13.6%, it was meh. It was really good at 25.8%, and 53%. So the plurality of people said, "Who is Marvel Jesus?" We have a few comments from our fans and followers over there. Randy said, "Just worried this is as good as it could get, and we'll never see Deadpool again." Did you see the movie, my friend? I don't think the last Deadpool. Kassan, who is currently watching, said, "This movie is exceptional. Beneath the layers of violence, humor, and cameos lies a character-driven story with heartfelt character arcs. You had a redemption, sacrifice, family, and love be at the heart of this movie. A job well done." Always Laughing Live said, "Just got home from watching it. Bloody brilliant." Kamaj JD said 8.5. The movie hit everything you'd expect. Add a quest that honors, laughs at, and shit talks the switch from Fox to Disney to top it off. It is a damn good time. Space Fool said it's what Alien versus Predator was aiming for.
That's a good one.
Oh no, we haven't heard from Taco Shirt in a while. He said 8% is wildly high for not caring for it. I will say that it was 8% when he commented. It went down 7.6%. And the magic number is 3 when it comes to TV. Said it's somewhere between meh and really good for me. Well, magic number, you're on an island by yourself, I think, or a very small island. The money proved that is Marvel's Lord and Savior. Yes, thank you.
Fair enough.
So let's do what we always do, gentlemen. Let's go around the room. Initial reactions, spoiler free. And Don, I know you're chomping at the bit to talk about the movie, so you can go first.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, this is so. I think I'm going to be on that island. I agree that it is between meh and a good movie, more toward the good movie on the scale. Definitely, I enjoyed the movie. I like it. I'm not saying I didn't. But when it comes to on the hierarchy of Deadpool movies, this is on the bottom of the list. And I could tell this was a Disney Deadpool. I'll get more into that later. Still enjoyed it very much. But I actually can make some nitpicks here. And, I'll try and be judicious with, what I pick on here. But so, yeah, it was a good movie. Good movie. It was a good movie. I can't say it was. It was entertained. It was funny. It had a different tinge to it than the other Deadpool movies. I could just tell.
Okay.
Oh God, Kassan. Wait, bring up Kassan's.
I knew I was gonna get shit because I'm defending lesbian space witches and shit one week, and then this week my favorite franchise I'm like picking on.
It sounds like it sounds like I'm wearing your skin. Apparently,
I'm not covering you from the live stream, Don. All right, John, what did you think?
Okay, normally, I would say, okay, the timeline of this is all screwed up because does it happen after Logan or before Logan or in some weird in between place because they're playing with timelines, and it happens when there's the cast of the second cast of the X-Men is still around, and yet Logan is dying or dead already, and I couldn't figure out. And then my brain just said, you know what, shut up. And I mean, it gets to the point where it gets so complicated that I just decide to just enjoy the movie. If you go into this and just decide to, just ride the wave, this is a good time. It's really, I don't normally go in for the types of jokes like this, but I don't know what it is about Ryan Reynolds. Maybe it's his chiseled chin or just his dreamy eyes. But I just I love this movie. It was, but I give Don credit. Like, this is story wise, the bottom of the Deadpool barrel, but the bottom of the Deadpool barrel, is like up. The top is like way up here. So yeah, I figured that's what you meant. It's like
if I was to grade these, Deadpool 1 would be 9.5, Deadpool 2 would be 9.75, and this would be 9. Yeah.
And I'm about the same. And I cannot recommend this enough. I will say again, as story wise, as far as weight, it still has the character growth in it, but it's not as concentrated as it was in Deadpool 1 and 2, because this movie just goes like, oh, member berries. It's like just chucking member berries. There is not one scene, not one frame in this movie that doesn't have at least 2 references in it to something else. And you can tell because the guys over at Rockstar Studios did a video on it. The video was over an hour long. They still didn't get everything, and the smoke was coming out of the ears by the end of the video. Like, nobody can just contain the number of references in this movie. So again, I think that overwhelms you to the point where your brain just turns off and you say, just watch it and enjoy. And that's not something I normally say. Again, Don and I have switched skins for today. But I loved it. It was hysterical and fun, and I'm gonna have to watch it again because I'm sure I missed a bunch of stuff. Dave,
this movie was irrelevant. Irreverent.
Irrelevant. Wow, that wasn't a Freudian slip.
This movie was irreverent, stupid, full of dick jokes.
Yeah.
I just want to put it on repeat and masturbate over and over again to it.
Oh God!
This is one of the best movies I have seen in a long time. I loved it. I loved from frame 1 to the after credit scene. I loved every minute of this. Yes, I get that there was a lot of member berries in it, and we'll get to that. It was done on purpose. Like, this movie had passion, and it accomplished what it set out to do, and I appreciate what it was trying to do. Did it well, and for being a stupid movie, there was actually a story behind a character arc underneath of it that you weren't expecting, and yeah, I loved every second of it. So, long story short, besides John's crush on Nice Pool,
look what you've done, Kassan. Look what you did.
I think we're all kind of saying, like, maybe even if John's saying it's not the best Deadpool movie, it's still a good movie. We're all saying if you haven't seen it yet, go see this movie. You will not be disappointed. And yeah, and so that's our initial reactions. We are now at the point in the show going to get into spoilers. So if you haven't seen the movie yet, please pause and come back and watch the show later, or if you don't care about spoilers, we're going to go ahead. But if you're got to this point, you need to stop and go see the movie and come back because you don't want spoilers. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live. And you won't forget to come back and watch the end of it. Smash that like button because we really, really do appreciate it. All right.
Yeah.
Now.
And just another disclaimer. Normally we try to protect you from spoiling things for you. And for a normal movie, there's spoilers and you don't want to hear them. For this one, the spoilers are huge. So you do not want to go beyond this point unless you have seen the movie or you really, really don't care. Because this movie, unlike a lot of Marvel movies, including the trailer for Captain America, the new Captain America one, they did not spoil shit. Like, they held on to some really, really good cards. So after this point, it's not our fault. We warned you.
You said cards.
Yeah. Oh, damn it.
So,
damn it.
So this movie opens with our antagonist, our hero, Wade Wilson Deadpool, walking through the woods of North Dakota, where Wolverine from Logan is buried. And Hugh Jackman and Ryan Reynolds promised us they would not crap on the legacy of Logan in this movie.
Well, to be fair, to be fair, and again, this is I'm normally not crude. He did not take a dump on his corpse. He was
but what he did was one. No, but what he did was one level below skull fucking. So
well, here's the thing.
I normally try to keep my language clean and everything, but this is going to be impossible with this movie. Cripes.
So the idea is Logan in this universe, the 10005 universe, which we have now established is the X-Men Fox universe, is 10005.
But undetermined time in that timeline, because again, Logan's dead. It was supposed to happen in 2029, that movie, but that wasn't the state of the rest of them. So
that's a good one.
Thank you, Kassan. So
yes,
they respected the legacy of Logan. He remains dead. They did not change his storyline. What they did, but they dug up his skeleton and then used his skeleton to kill a bunch of TVA agents.
Nunchucks.
Oh my god!
Skull around. Yeah, that's funny. They took an Oscar-winning movie and did this to it. That's hilarious. Because
he even says it. It's Deadpool, so he breaks the fourth wall. He's talking at the camera, and he's like, said we weren't going to crap on Logan, like we lied, and he's saying, "Oh, I need you to say you got to snap out of it. You got to heal. He's dead." Which, okay. I will point out that in the early 2000s, there was a comic where Wolverine gets hit with a nuclear bomb, and there's only this much flesh left on his adamantium skeleton, and he completely regenerates from that tiny amount of flesh. Comes back. So,
and after that, he literally swam through lava in hell and went all the way skeleton, got out of that, and started regenerating. So
yes. Oh, Thrawn says, hot toy. Yeah, I definitely see a Wolverine skeleton hot toy coming out of this. So, I mean, I did call it, though. I did say, when we talked about this movie before it came out, it was not going to be the same Wolverine. It would be a Wolverine from an alternate universe. So, they were going to keep him dead, which we find out, that's the crux of the story. is that they now have this concept of anchor characters or anchor beings in universes, and when that character dies, the universe begins to die. Now,
which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it means every universe is going to die. There's got to be more to that theory, but I don't know. Or maybe it was just Paradox not understanding things because obviously he wasn't the brightest bulb in the TVA.
Right. Son says there's DNA in bone marrow, which is true. Bone marrow is protected by adamantium, which is also true. But maybe you couldn't grow out of the adamantium to regenerate the body through it. You know.
I mean, that's what Deadpool said right in the beginning. He said he was digging as he's digging up the body. He's like, obviously these guys don't know how regeneration works. And
right.
No, still dead. I mean, like, again, it was
Nice Pool doesn't have a healing factor, so we're dealing with different Wolverines here. I mean, obviously he did have a healing factor, but it just burnt out. That does happen in the comics.
Yes, it does happen in the comics,
and it burns out.
Like that's the
thing.
Logan? Is that what you're talking about, or when it burns out?
That's one of them.
There's been there's been a couple stories. There's been one where he just didn't have any more, and he got cancer. And it was slowly killing him. There was a storyline in the comics with that. Like, yeah, he's lost it before, but it's the comics. He comes back one way or another. So,
right.
So yeah, like they introduced this idea that if this anchor character dies, the universe will die within a couple thousand years or whatever. And Logan was the anchor character of the universe, and he died in Logan. But so the TVA is going to recruit Deadpool because he's a special character, which I believe in the comics he's a Nexus being. Is he, or am I wrong with that?
I don't.
I thought Wanda was the only Nexus being, but
no, there's a few Marvel characters that are Nexus beings, which means they're. Well, actually, no, you're right. He wouldn't be a Nexus being.
Man. He is Molecule Man.
Yeah. Yes.
Well, he wasn't. He was a Nexus being. He was there because all of
Deadpool.
The Beyonders put him in there as a time bomb to take out all of the universes at once, right?
Right,
like,
but Deadpool is different.
Nexus, but...
A Nexus being is the same in every universe, where Deadpool is different in every universe. Okay, so Sun says, or maybe Mr. Paradox just created an excuse to get rid of that timeline. He hated it. I know I hate when people do stuff like I'm doing, but this movie was so good.
Well, he's got a point because X3 did live in that universe, so he's almost got a point. And, get rid of that shit.
No, I think and I said this too when we talked about it and we watched the trailers. I'm like, why does it feel like Paradox is operating in the trailers like the old TVA when we all watched Loki and the TVA changed at the end of Loki? I said it's going to end up Paradox is actually one of the villains. I actually said
rogue.
Right. So because he went rogue and he wants to prune universes, and it's like, we don't do that anymore because now we're nice.
Okay. So when he said that, if you're watching closely, when he said that, you can tell that the background is like green screened in, which doesn't match the scene just before that, where he was explaining other stuff. And this was being written at the same time that they were writing Loki. And then, famously, Loki, like, I think after like episode 5, they had to change the script. And you can see how that happened. So they at the post-production, they must have added that in to match what the TVA was supposed to be after Loki took over.
Yeah, I think you're right. I do, because making the movie at the same time as Loki, and I do think things changed in this movie to fit with that. Which would make sense that, like, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no, it's go on. Because I was just going to say we're not going to be able to recap this entire movie. There's too many references because like I said, New Rockstar
and here's the thing.
Nosebleeds. So we should probably start with the box office.
Well, we'll get to that in 1 second. I just want to say, which is also probably why it wasn't Owen Wilson as Paradox Mobius, because They were filming it at the same time, which is what threw me off. I'm like, why is it a different character? He must be the villain. And if they had gone with the TVA still being bad and had Owen Wilson, and then it would have made no sense. So this works. This ends up working really well by the end of it, like storyline wise. So he finds out that his universe is dying. He thinks he needs to resurrect Logan. He can't because he's dead. So then he decides to go on a quest to find another Wolverine to take his Wolverine's place to save his universe. Enter our first montage, a scene with multiple Wolverine comic book references. Don, come on, you had to have been smiling through some of these.
Oh yeah, especially the comic book accurate one where he's very short.
That was hilarious.
Maybe a little too short. I think the
Age of Apocalypse, like Wolverine. I was very surprised that the only non-Hugh Jackman Wolverine we got was Cavalry.
Which was hilarious because it took me a second to realize who that was.
Yes.
Like he was supposed to play Wolverine at some point or something, or was he supposed to? It is a perfect pairing, but again, Henry Cavill's
here's
still
the thing.
Tall for that.
Both there were rumors going about rumors. There were leaks that both Chris Evans at one point was talking to Marvel about coming back, and so was Henry Cavill, and everyone said, "Oh, he's going to be Captain Britain." We now know why the two of them were talking to Marvel, right? They're both in this movie, and F8 issue he works. But yeah, like, I mean, would we all love to see Henry Cavill as Wolverine? I don't know. Maybe I could picture him as so many different heroes in the MCU. He's gonna do his his
hope
Warhammer movie.
I really hope they do go a little bit more comic accurate with the height, though. I really do. He doesn't need to be 5'2". Like, I get it. That's not to offend anybody, but like freakishly small, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, I think we need to stay under 6 foot. That's all I'm saying.
I agree.
Cavill should be Cyclops, and that'd be funny. It'd be
So,
Wolverine and
I mean, what is Tom Holland's like? What, 5'9"? Like, let's make him the same height as Spider-Man. Like, that'll work too, you know?
Yeah.
Because here's the thing: there's a lot of like little quips and stories that go along with it, where it's like there is a bit of a Napoleon complex. You know, it is part of his character. You know, the I'm the best at what I do, and what I do isn't that nice. You know, like a lot of that comes from him being this small, fierce, angry little guy. You know, and you know, like, I love Hugh Jackman. I mean, I love him so much. I went and saw him in Music Man on Broadway. But like, yeah, like let's get a more comic, like, you know, again, 5'2" is a little ridiculous, as we saw. Oh, I love that. Oh, we finally comic accurate.
But let's.
What's the real quick? What's the storyline where he's the X? Hanging on the X.
You know, I meant to look that up because I was actually
the Reavers, or
he's like E for extinction or something. I can't.
I was gonna say it's either it's not Executioner song. So yeah, I think it's E for extinction. It's like a title like that. I know that.
Yeah,
and it's a very famous cover.
Something like that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Again,
that was cool. I actually appreciated that a lot, that they did some like Wolverine covers.
And the costume too. The costumes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know,
very comic accurate costumes in this movie.
That Age of Apocalypse one got me. I did not expect that at all.
Okay, here's a nitpick. They screwed something up. He was in the John Byrne costume. He shows up. He's like, "Oh, classic John Byrne." Wait. Isn't this the costume where you fought the Hulk and you turn around and there's the Hulk?
Yeah.
But no, he was introduced. His first appearance was in the Hulk wearing his classic yellow costume when he first fought the
Yes,
Hulk.
but there is another issue. They did the exact cover where you saw the Hulk and his blades. That's from a cover. I'm sorry, I can't cite it directly. But yes, you're absolutely right. Their first meeting was the yellow and
it's a Todd McFarlane cover because it's the Hulk is reflected in the blades, and it's Todd McFarlane who drew that. Yes.
well, I think it's a gray Hulk though. But anyway,
yeah.
I actually got it back there somewhere. But yeah, I had that thought too. I was like, wait a minute, but then I remember that cover. I'm like, okay, they're not doing
but I mean, I don't think when you say like, oh, didn't you fight the Hulk? And it's like, no, I think of the original where it was the yellow and black, and it was the shorter ears and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So now if they had shown that costume, I'm like, oh wow, they really are going all out here. And then we had Patch.
As well. Yeah.
Yes. Everyone thought that was going to be a different actor playing Patch, but nope. It was still still Hugh Jackman.
I didn't think it was going to be Ratcliffe or some shit.
Yeah, because they were like, oh, look at his shoulders. It's a shorter actor, and it's like, how can you tell that from the back shot? You know,
most of the budget in this was already just blown on just cameos, probably.
Yeah. So he finally.
I think they saved some money with Hugh Jackman, because I got to tell you, they probably paid him per different line, and he tells Deadpool to shut the fuck up like 50 times. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
This montage
Deadpool
ends with us finding this Logan for the movie, who's in a very dark place drinking alcohol. Deadpool puts a gun to his head and he leans in. He's like, yeah, go ahead. He passes out. He takes him to the TVA and he's like, look, I found Logan. Let's save my universe. And they're like, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. So this is where like.
But it did though. But it did anyway.
Is this Logan? But is this okay? Again, DC guy. Is this Logan from a different storyline that is known, or is this Logan just for this movie?
I think it is Old Man Logan, being Old Man Logan, because in that story timeline, what have you, Mysterio tricks Wolverine into killing all the X-Men. And so the way he's acting, talking about how he's not worth shit in his timeline, that's my best guess, because they really did not go into, okay, why does this Wolverine hate himself?
Okay. That's what I was thinking too, but they never say that he killed the X-Men. They say the humans killed the X-Men, and then he turned around and killed humans, and that's like why no one likes
lots
him.
of humans apparently.
But he also says it's his fault the X-Men died at one point in the movie. But like, just because you left, they died. Like, how is that it's not really your fault. And then Old Man Logan is in the montage. He's sitting on the porch with the hat and the thing, and he shoots Wade with the shotgun. Like, that's Old Man Logan, with the gray beard and everything. So
yep, I agree. Yeah. That's just the only story I know where
I feel like this was
he's that much of a shithead.
Like, because that would have been a really big storyline, like you said, like Old Man Logan. So I kind of feel like maybe it is, or maybe this is really just a creation for this movie. And I feel like, and this is kind of why I feel like maybe he's not 100% done. He's missing. We don't really know the whole story, and maybe we need another movie to fill that in a little bit. But yeah, like that becomes the heart of the movie, is his redemption arc in this. Like, he's the grumpy old man who just like doesn't want to be here anymore, and Deadpool's dragging him along on this adventure to save his universe, and it becomes the road trip story. And then of course they go back to the TVA, they get pruned, and we end up in the Void. The Void's slightly different than the show. People keep pointing that out, but it's like, it's the Void. We don't know what the Void is like exactly.
The Void is huge. They were just in a different part. Right. The only difference was that the stuff was still falling in, but then again, the TVA, I mean, there were still timelines that were dying naturally, and of course that stuff would fall into the Void, but you didn't see people falling into the void, which indicates the change in the TVA.
And this is when we get our second, but probably most expensive cameo in the whole movie. We get Chris Evans shows up, but he's all covered in cloth, and you can see he's wearing a blue uniform, and he's got red things on his arms, and Deadpool's all excited because he thinks it's Captain America.
I thought it was Captain America.
Deadpool's aware of the 616 universe, even though he's from 10005. And I love this scene because it's like, he's gonna say it. He's got, like, the bad guys show up, and he's gonna say it. He's going to either say, "I could do this all day," or "Avengers Assemble." It's Avengers Assemble is what he's waiting for. He's gonna say it, and then he goes, "Flame on," and it's Johnny Storm, and it was like, oh yeah, this is good. Like, that was perfect.
I just want to mention, I don't think either of you have mentioned anything about this. The audience, I went and saw this Friday night, and I went and saw it in IMAX by accident because I'm old and I like trying to keep what hearing I've got left. Which, but I didn't see it. It's not a real IMAX theater, not like the one in King of Prussia near here where it's like, the whole wraparound and all that.
Yeah.
But the audience I was in, and it was packed, like the whole, even the nosebleed seats in the front where you have to, crane your neck up straight to see the movie. Like, they were filled too. The audience, at that point, they lost their shit. It was like, I think most of them, including me at that point, thought it was Captain America. And then he did Flame On. And I'm like, oh, they're going to be that kind of cameos. and I mean, during the whole experience, people were laughing constantly. They were cheering. They were clapping at certain points. Like, I cannot remember the last time I've been in a movie where that kind of interaction happened, where it was that pronounced.
So actually, I'm going to say this along those lines. So I saw it at noon on Saturday. It was packed, but the audience I saw was a little subdued. Like, they were laughing and clapping along and everything, but I wouldn't say they lost their shit. But I forgot, like, when they first the voice start fighting, right? Because let's be honest, it's like Godzilla versus Kong. This is what we came to see. We came to see Deadpool and Wolverine, the two indestructible Marvel characters, fight each other, right? So they get in this big fight, and of course, I feel like this is when they revealed what this movie really is. Yeah. You see the Fox logo behind you.
Yeah.
And then
with F and O hidden and just the X.
Right.
Yeah.
And when Chris Evans shows up as Johnny Storm, this is a goodbye to the Fox universe. This was the swan song to say goodbye to what was and what could have been from the Fox X-Men, Fantastic Four, never crossed over universe, I really feel like that's how they were telling you, like, this is what we're really doing here, guys. Like, yeah, this is a Deadpool Wolverine movie, but those guys are from a different universe, and now they're being dragged in to the MCU. Like, think about it. They could have just done Deadpool 3, done a completely standalone movie, but they drug Hugh Jackman into it. Like, right away, it's like, wait, what's going on here? And then we get Chris Evans, Johnny Storm. Hold on, sorry.
Who immediately gets bodied.
Nerd, get your special sock out.
Oh, God. I mean...
I want the properties of Deadpool's suit are...
Yeah, it heals from vulgar humor, right? Because by the end of this movie, it should have been in tatters. You're right, but it was regenerating too.
So here's an interesting thing, right? So this convoy shows up, very Mad Max feeling, and it's all of the X-Men villains, basically from different, especially the early 3 movies. We had Toad, we had
Juggernaut guy. What? Oh, right, Pyro. Pyro and
Sabretooth.
Sabretooth. And you had a version of Olivia Munn played her. What was it?
Elektra.
Yeah, Psylocke.
Psylocke,
Right.
Psylocke.
But you had a different Psylocke in this one.
So this was one of the things that got me. Oh yeah, Lady Deathstrike was there as well. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
This was one of the things that got me with this scene, because I could have swore there were, maybe, I don't know if there was any of the trailers, definitely in the behind the scenes stuff that leaked. They were at the compound and Sabretooth was at the compound. But it ended up being the quickest Sabretooth cameo that they could do.
We're here. We're here. So nitpick time.
Okay, go ahead.
Big time. Okay,
we really did switch brains, didn't we? Go ahead.
What is the who's the actor who played this version of Sabretooth?
I just had it on.
It was the same actor.
Same dude that plays. Yeah, it is the same actor, and doesn't he also play Red Guardian?
Tyler Mane.
Yeah, Tyler Mane.
Tyler Mane. So yeah, Tyler
okay.
Mane came back for this movie. Go ahead. What's your nitpick?
Okay.
I knew this.
So you're going to the Sabretooth Wolverine fight? Absolutely. I'm not even going to get there yet. But so you're going to bring all these Fox characters back, but you're not going to bring their actual actors. You make me have to look at fucking Juggernaut, X3, X whatever, not Juggernaut, and you don't even cast the original actor who, gosh darn it, it's Vinnie Jones, I believe. Yes, Vinnie Jones.
Yes.
Who is actually the only redeeming quality of that character.
Vinnie Jones wanted to do it.
Snatch.
Vinnie Jones wanted to do it. He was doing something else at the time, and the timing didn't line up. I already saw an interview with him when he was talking about it. And they were just going to use the character, but they still used the character. Here's my thing. Why didn't they use the Ryan Reynolds version of Juggernaut from
There you go. Exactly.
Deadpool 2?
Why not at least do that? But
because it's more believable. It's more believable to kill that Juggernaut and take it ahead and finish your thought.
Sure. Well, so for this podcast, maybe we'll talk about this more because Vinnie Jones has reminded me. The only redeeming thing about the Juggernaut character was he was playing him, because they liked him from Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels, and one of my favorite movies of all time that I'd like to argue with you guys about whether or not it's a superhero movie, Snatch. I'd really like to watch that for this podcast. And I have an argument that it's actually a superhero movie. So anyway, back to my gripe. So they brought back these characters, but they didn't bring back the original actors outside of Pyro and a couple of other ones. It lost all effect on me. Like, I thought they were going to actually bring all of them back, and I still didn't even care about it, but it would have been like a little bit of amusing.
I feel like
do it.
I feel like they sent out invites to everyone that was ever in a Fox superhero movie, and it was just whoever agreed to come back and whoever could do it. But they still had a story that involved some of these characters, so they had to recast them.
They had to have Juggernaut because they needed his helmet.
Right. No, I'll get that. Juggernaut, he's got the Deus Machina helmet. Okay, got that. But Azazel? Like, why did Azazel didn't need to be there? So okay.
Because the actor,
yeah, you're right. And Azazel didn't. He doesn't even talk in the movie. Let's have him there. Yeah.
I don't want to belabor that point. I'm just saying, nitpick. They brought in the Fox characters without actually bringing in. And then yes, I'm sorry, the Sabretooth fight. I was waiting for this because honestly, the Sabretooth fight in the first X-Men is better than this. It just is. And because a classic Sabretooth Wolverine fight does include a lot of shit talking. And this is my headcanon abrasion here, so please take it as it is. But this fight was just very disappointing. I expected and maybe I would not have this nitpick if they didn't put it in the trailer. They hyped this shit up in the trailer, but they basically showed all but 5 seconds of this fight in the trailer. That's a big nitpick of mine, right? Yes. Please.
I don't know if this. Well, my thought when this fight ended so quick was, wow, they finally showed an accurate fight between Wolverine and literally anybody else, because it's like he's got adamantium claws. He's just either going to behead you or bisect you, and that's the end. Like this whole thing where anybody has a chance against him, unless they've got like immunity to, to adamantium, is like, it's just any fight's not going to
Or-
last long.
You could be Victor Creed and be a very smart killing machine who knows exactly how to piss Wolverine off and get him off balance.
True.
Bend his partner and basically know his
So-
every weakness. And the adamantium bones are the only difference between you two, other than, again, you're a little bit smarter, more tactical in murder.
And less of a
Three-ish.
healing factor, slightly less of a healing factor, I guess. But
Go ahead.
it just,
the only thing I will say to that is that fight wasn't the point of the movie. Like they wanted to do it, but they did it quick, and it becomes a joke, right? It's like a lot of things in this movie, which I can understand why a diehard X-Men fan would be upset about finally getting a Sabretooth, comic accurate Sabretooth versus a comic accurate Wolverine fight, and it's over in 2 seconds. And I'm gonna get a little bit of a thing here too. Like that was Ray Park's Toad, but he doesn't talk at all in this movie. So like, why did you Park come back to do it? That could have been anybody, but yet you write a story around Juggernaut and you bring back the actor.
Well, again, they didn't. The actor didn't have time. That didn't line up. But they got everybody else they could, which
But I understand. No, but I'm saying I understand Don's frustration at that. Try to work a little bit harder around people's schedules if you want to do this.
My problem. My problem is I'm the nerd guy, and it's not lost on me, but it's just not my first thought that this whole movie's premise is to shit on everything, and that's fun. Like they are shitting on the Fox X-Men universe,
and
so
on
you know what I'm
Disney.
saying. I can appreciate that, but yes, this is my first initial nerd thoughts are like, oh, come on, that's not a fucking Wolverine Sabretooth fight. This is ridiculous. But that's exactly what they're trying to do. So believe me, I understand I fell into their trap.
Thrawn says he's pissed that there's no Halle Berry.
I'm not.
Yes and no. I think maybe if they asked her, she said no. But I also think there was kind of a point to this in the fact that, like, based on the way they were trying to say goodbye to the Fox universe, like the characters, the villains were from the X-Men movies, and then heroes from the other movies. Like that's kind of the way they were doing it. You had Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four, Elektra. Well, the character who wasn't technically Fox either.
So Channing Tatum, Gambit. Boy, did he fucking look ridiculous.
Okay, well, he did. But what did you think?
Remy LeCheeks.
Right, and then it's like, but the other thing is too, like the only MCU character that we got was a dead Giant Man or Ant-Man. Like think about it that way. Like, yes, they're letting you know. Oh, I'm sorry, and Happy, but like they're letting you know. Yeah, this is tangential to the MCU, but like that's not important right now. That's the story here.
Okay.
Okay, so yeah, we'll get to that too. Then, like we'll skip ahead to meeting the other heroes.
What did you think though when that scene happened? What did you think when they started walking in?
I was very surprised by Elektra. Very surprised that they had Jennifer.
I was
Garner
not
and
surprised. I was not surprised by Jennifer Garner. That had been a rumor for a long time. I was shocked by Wesley Snipes coming back as the man. Motherfuckers are always trying to scale. Oh my God, he said the line.
That is my favorite line from any movie, and he said it. And as I walked out of this theater, I was with I looked at the person I went with, and I was like, I don't want to see a Blade movie without Wesley Snipes now. I don't want any Marsha Ali.
He said it too. He said it too.
Yeah.
He's like Blade. And he's like the one and only.
I'll be the only one ever or whatever. And of course Deadpool glances at the camera at that point, but then they can't seem to get his new movie off the ground. So maybe he will only ever be the only one at this point. You know?
I see no reason they cannot have Wesley Snipes continue to be Blade. Just don't do it.
Thrawn, you did say that that you did call Blade. I didn't believe you. I didn't think Wesley Snipes would come back because there was rumors for a long time that he didn't like Ryan Reynolds because Ryan Reynolds was the young guy coming in to take over the Blade franchise, but then the third movie did bad, so it died right there.
Right.
But
they've switched positions since then, though.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
Ryan Reynolds is box office and, you know, Wesley Snipes is Wesley Snipes.
But
What do we
their
do here in
personalities,
America too?
their personalities clash too. Like they hated each other in that.
Yeah. But boy, how bad was the Gambit movie going to be if it came out? Holy.
Now,
I cannot believe
I kept
people were
thinking-
pining for that.
I was thinking about this in
We
so
don't know
many
what costume
ways.
they were
Number
going to
one,
make. They just
number one, I still don't understand why they were going to use Channing Tatum instead of the guy from X-Men. What was it? The Wolverine?
It was X-Men Origins Wolverine, yeah.
Okay, so it was the first one. Like why they weren't going to use him? Like made no sense. Why were you going to recast Gambit with Channing Tatum because he's a bigger star? But I think enough people like Gambit that they would have done well. And here's the thing. Did they ham it up for this movie? It's a Deadpool movie. So like did he do that ridiculous accent because it was like this movie's never going to happen, you know, like just do it as a joke. But Marvel could go, "Hey, we like that. Let's use him again." I don't know, but yeah, it was bad.
But
It was so bad.
he was here just to shit on the character because that suit looked horrible. That looked like early 90s shit.
I mean, it was comic accurate.
Gambit's
I
a
love
lot
that.
skinnier though, and let's face it, Gambit's combat. Well, okay, confession here, X-Men fan. I'm not that huge of a Gambit fan, but honestly, without the trench coat, his suit sucks. I'm sorry, just dumb.
I like it when Rocky is King Lear, says Thrawn. Son. Also, can we
That was
appreciate
cool.
how awesome Gambit's ability in this
Yes, we
movie?
can.
The man was blowing bodies to bits. Yes.
Yeah,
I'll give that.
if they
that
ever
was
did
cool.
Gambit justice, they would show that he is an Omega level.
It
mutant.
is-
like he can blow
it is-
anything up, anything.
It's funny that the movie came out after the X-Men 97 where we got a Gambit who sacrificed himself to save like all the X-Men, all the mutants on Krakoa. So it was like and made Gambit a hero in like a lot of people's eyes. So it's like and we have Janet Tatum. Like you can't
I know it's so
say it.
fucking bad.
Like Kassan is saying, if you bring up Kassan's last bit. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, where's it?
Sorry.
Stop!
Okay, I'm leaving control today. So yeah, this was a target-rich environment for Ryan Reynolds. Like I'm sure they did it so they could just keep hitting that with all the jokes, get it out of his system. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, it was constantly. Anytime Channing said something, you know, it was a comment like, "I'm sorry, I only got half of that," or "Could you say that again?" Or as Kassan said, you know, we should talk to your dialogue coach about this.
Was it a little bit Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory and Mike TV? And every time he spoke, Willy Wonka was like, "Yeah, I didn't catch that." You know.
You have to open your mouth when you talk.
Yes. And then X-23, which I can't find the cast list.
Daphne Keane.
Yeah.
She said in an interview flat out, "Oh, she wasn't going to be in this movie," and it was just like, and then she walks, and it was like, "Oh crap!" Like,
well, it's
not crap, but just like, oh, okay. I mean, and they gave it away in the last trailer, but it was just like, man, that little
They
kid
sure
lied
did.
to all of us.
Well, hey, dude, like if you work for Disney and they said, listen, motherfucker, we don't want another Tom Holland. Do we have a problem? And, well, we do not. Like, you know, and that might make her work with her more because they're like, hey, she keep her mouth shut.
They did some psyops too. They put out a bunch of rumors on purpose to mislead people about who was going to be in this. But when that scene happened where they started walking in all these characters you haven't seen in decades, people in my theater were cheering like and clapping. It was like, you know, especially for Wesley Snipes because, you know, he actually stopped taking enough drugs that he could actually operate as a human being for a few seconds.
Yeah, it happens when you get
well,
older.
I mean,
hey, nitpick about X-23 though. Nitpick about X-23 incoming.
What?
Why not in the suit though? Just why not in the suit a little bit? Come on, man. Why can't we get her
the next time we see her? She'll be in the suit because
I don't disagree because I don't disagree because I think one of the things this movie does is show us, hey, you can have Wolverine the mask on and it's not going to totally look fucking stupid. Like, sure, take it off during the dialogue, but when it's time to fight, let's go.
She was in her suit though. She had the sunglasses that Logan bought for her.
I'm not talking. I'm talking about her actual suit from the
comics. Yeah,
I know. And yes, Kassan was right. It was there was just a little bit of that too, because she watched him. She's amazing. There's a youthful character that can carry a franchise for 10 to 12 years.
That line is the heart of this movie.
Yeah,
that's just the thing, Logan. You're always the wrong guy
until you step up. Yeah,
and it's just like and that is the story of Logan in a lot of the comics, you know. And it works. I mean, I honestly can see this storyline is why Hugh Jackman agreed to do one more, because it was like, and not just because he's friends with Ryan Reynolds, he thought it'd be fun to do another movie. There's actually heart in his storyline, you know, that he got to act like a person in great pain. He got to do stuff Wolverine we really haven't seen before, and he got to put the costume on finally.
Him and Ryan Reynolds did Hot Ones. You guys familiar with that show where you sit down and eat wings, answer questions? They did it together. And Hugh Jackman says in that, as soon as the Deadpool movie came out, he wanted to do this. But he said, shit, I announced my retirement 3 days before. So he's been wanting to do this for a while. And I'm glad they got that opportunity.
Do you know what both of them have said now? They want to do a movie with Spider-Man and Tom Holland.
Okay,
that would be fucking awesome. That would be amazing.
So, yeah. We don't have to beat by beat. Of course, they go back to the. They go to the compound. They fight. Let's talk about Cassandra for just a little bit.
Let's say we haven't even addressed the plot here yet, which is the whole thing. Other than
I'm saying there's yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
Well, the plot is all over the place. The plot is all over the place. I mean,
he captures Logan to try to save the universe. It's not going to work. They send him to the void. Cassandra is actually leading this compound in the void where all the villains are out. She kills Johnny Storm in one of the quickest and most disgusting ways possible.
Because Deadpool threw him under the bus.
Yes, yeah. Deadpool threw him under the bus. And he did say the things that he claimed he said. That's
not since
the end credits.
Not since Willow in Buffy the Vampire Slayer ripped somebody's skin off after that guy killed her girlfriend have I ever seen a death that freaking brutal.
Oh my god,
Deep
it was
cut.
bad. And and I think that was just basically to say Johnny Storm from the Fantastic Four, Chris Evans version, will never return.
Yeah, I don't think he's coming back from that.
That put the final nail in it. Cassandra Nova, funny. They basically just say that she's the twin brother of Charles Xavier. She tried to choke him in the womb, and and whatnot, and they don't go into the whole thing, which is, I mean, again, we've said this before, she has the most bizarre, convoluted backstory of any character in any comic ever, because
And they did it opposite here. They did it opposite here, actually, because Charles is the one in the womb that recognizes her as just an evil fuck and destroys her in the womb. And then her essence survives, and over many years she gets a new body, blah, blah, blah. And I get that's a little bit convoluted for them to do here, but they did kind of switch the roles. Like, even when he was Deadpool or Wolverine, I can't remember which one, was like, oh, if your Charles was here, he would love you. Like, I don't know about that. Not according to the comics. But
Right.
but again, they did, they switched her around a little bit. She's way sexier than she is in the comics. She's very old.
And played
looking,
by
looking
Emma
to be-
Corrin. Played by Emma Corrin, who was in The Crown, I
Who-
guess.
who-
So,
which
she good. She was terrifying.
like she was a young actress, and I'm like, this is a villain they could definitely bring back, but we'll get to that in a second.
Emma Corrin is 28 years old, so she she could definitely come in. And she did very good in that role. She was. I found her terrifying.
Son says Deadpool was being pragmatic. Cassandra can read minds. He had to save his own skin by sacrificing Johnny.
Nice.
Yeah, defending Deadpool is not always a good place to be.
Good pool or nice pool learned that really quick.
It was a death to show how brutal Cassandra is being of the void.
Because of the void, yeah.
Because of the void. And Kassan says, man, she was beautiful, even bald. Yeah, she's cute. So yeah, it's like, you see how powerful she is. She has to touch your brain to read your mind, though, that was a weird and gross special effect, I gotta say. But it was kind of cool. And it made her more of a creepy villain.
It
right?
made her scary, yeah.
She was a scary bitch. I mean,
the most, I find that the most terrifying antagonists in movies are the ones where you have no freaking idea when they're going to pop
yes
off.
Yes,
because you spend the entire time, and if you get a good actor who can portray that unstableness or that kind of personality where anything can trigger them at any time, but you don't know what that is. Every time an actor like that is on screen in a scene, you're spending that entire scene going, God, is somebody going to die? When is she? What's going to trigger her? What, don't say anything to her. Like, hide in a corner and don't do anything until that person. So I find that amazing, and she did a really good job with that.
So they basically, because you find out also that Pyro has been working for the TVA all this time. This is where it gets convoluted, right? So, well, not the TVA, working for Paradox. So Paradox, he has a phone that they can apparently talk to each other. Man, that's a really good. Is that AT&T or is that T-Mobile? Like, I want to know who that carrier is. That
it definitely wasn't T-Mobile.
So there.
It definitely wasn't. What's that one that Ryan Reynolds does? Mint. It wasn't Mint either.
Mint Mobile, yeah.
Said the plan for the team of heroes was to get Juggernaut's helmet, to use the magic helmet to put on Cassandra's head to block her abilities, to get her to send them home.
Mm-hmm.
When they put the helmet on her, Pyro takes that moment, because movie time, he was there at that exact moment, takes that moment to shoot her in the belly, not use his powers and cook her, but shoot her in the belly, where if he take the helmet off, it could save her. Where if he just barbecued her right then and there, he probably would have destroyed her body and there would have been no bringing her back. But hey, let's not nitpick that.
And then he starts monologuing. Ugh.
Yeah, well, it's a Disney movie. Someone's got a monologue.
It's funny. It's a funny line.
But they also called that out, and they punched him. What is it? Logan punches him out and says, "Not everybody gets a dialogue or whatever."
Right.
This movie's funny as fuck.
Yeah.
And then of course she goes, I can't send you home. But then a magician came through there at some point. Obviously, Doctor Strange. She has a sling ring. She knows how to use the sling ring. It was like,
It wasn't just a sling ring. If you look at the sling ring, it had part of the time stone on one side and part of the space stone on the other.
Yes.
So it was one that was tricked out a bit, and that's why it was able to bypass, the dimensional.
I think, I think they did that. So nerds like us would not sit there and nitpick like, oh, come on, sling rings don't work like that. Even though, I know you're right. They couldn't go interdimensionally in Multiverse of Madness. That's why we had to have America Chavez in the movie, because she can go interdimensionally.
Right.
So yeah. So you're right. Yeah. So
now she got to pimp my sling ring. Little upgrade.
Right. So they back to Deadpool's universe, and the greatest scene comes up here. But Cassandra shows up, blah blah blah. She wants to find out what paradoxes do. Paradox is setting up a machine to destroy the universe, which does against Loki, because they already had a thing there where they could erase complete timelines, so they didn't need this new device or whatever it was. But whatever.
No. That one only would get rid of one timeline. This thing got rid of entire branches. Like from the root. Yeah. And that's why if you look inside the machine, that thing that you just mentioned, the little thing that they would use to reset a timeline, like it was filled with those. And then they ran the matter and antimatter reaction through it. So yeah, that kind of makes sense that you need that kind of power to make all those things work in concert, to delete an entire, reset it, but delete the timeline from the root, from where it hit the sacred timeline.
All right, comic book logic. All right, I'll give it to you.
Hey, at least it's a logic. At least it's logic that makes it not unpickable, but yeah, it makes kind of sense.
So we get now the Deadpool Corps finally shows up. They hint at them earlier in the movie. They show up here, all hired to kill Deadpool, which seemed weird to me, except for Nicepool, because Nicepool doesn't like that. This is the scene where John, I'm sure, got the most sad, because our Deadpool Prime, as he keeps calling himself, uses Nicepool as a human shield.
But he doesn't regenerate.
Oh my God, Mikai. Are there Deadpools that don't regenerate, Marvel guys? Because
not that I've ever seen, but it's funny
not that I've ever seen. Yeah. I mean, it's Wade Wilson, aka Nicepool, and it makes sense because he doesn't have the messed up face, because that's his cancer, his healing factor going into overtime, trying to cure his cancer, and that's why his skin is so messed up. So since that Wade wasn't messed up, he never had his power triggered. So he doesn't have the healing factor. So it made sense. It worked. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, it was ridiculous that he's running across to the food truck, because those things basically hospitals. I'm sorry, I lost it in this scene. I loved it so much. And he stops, and he's still holding his human shield. He's not dead yet. So they're talking. It's like, you're gonna make it. He's like, It's like, I want to hear you say it. I'm gonna make it.
And then his head blows
and
off.
Explodes. And I know it's when you cried, John. But
that was and that was done right in front of Liefeld Pediatrics or
Liefeld Just Feet.
Yeah, Liefeld
Just Feet.
My God. Like again, there is not one scene, not one frame in this movie that doesn't have at least 2 references in it.
And then Wolverine's on the other side, and he's like, he just shakes his head, and he picks up Dogpool, and he's walking across, and they all stop because no one wants to hurt Dogpool because he was. Well, if both of them love Dogpool, they all love Dogpool.
By the way, Dogpool, played by an actual dog that won ugliest
dog in the United Kingdom. Yeah,
in the United Kingdom. So yeah, and that brings us to all the Deadpools that were there.
Headpool,
like there were
so many,
like the from the Marvel zombie universe, the Headpool, and then there was Blake Lively playing Ladypool, and yeah, the whole Blake Lively Taylor Swift debate was entirely for nothing. Damn it, But again, they kept putting out misinformation, so.
Yeah, there were so many rumors that Taylor Swift was going to be Dazzler in the movie, but like based on what this movie was, it made sense that she wasn't in it because Dazzler was never a character that was used in live action. But that was Blake Lively in that costume, and it was her voice when Deadpool spoke. So it's kind of like it was weird because like, is it a waste of a cameo? Like, it's her under the mask, and like she gets credited at the end,
and it was her voice. Yeah,
but you never see her face, But
it doesn't matter because Reynolds made a comment like he worked it into the script that she just had a baby and now you can't even tell, which actually happened. Like
happened in real life.
I think what was their 3rd child, and she's in perfect shape. I think that was like right after they made a comment about Hugh Jackman's divorce from his wife of multiple decades, like literally probably a couple of months after it happened. I mean, whoa. There's this whole movie is just ridiculous.
And then after that, of course, he's trying to revive the headless Nice Pool, and there's just blood splurting everywhere.
I don't think he's gonna make it.
There's so much blood in this movie. But he finally got his gold-plated Desert Eagles, which is all he really wanted from the beginning. And then they both, of course, they leave Deadpool. I mean, not Deadpool. Dogpool aside to keep her safe. They both come out, and this is when we finally get it. Don, come on.
Don.
You had to. Your pants had to have gotten tighter.
Wait.
Jackman finally got
Dave. Okay, this whole scene, Dave, you're thinking that Don's going to go one way. I'm thinking he's going to go another. So let's hear it, Dan. What did you think of it? What'd you think of what Dave was talking about, and then the scene?
Yeah, I loved it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I've been wanting to see, great comic book accurate costume all throughout, but to have him actually put the cowl on, the face mask on, after it was supposed to be in the Wolverine movie, or it was at the end of that, or no, that was a deleted scene. Sorry. So to have us get that close and never get there, then he do Logan and retire, but now he's back, he's here, he's got the comic accurate shit on, and it works. I thought Hugh Jackman did a great job of acting as Wolverine, but not with his mouth. Like just the scenes where he's just claws out, menacing, like looking like that. That's all like fucking Wolverine from the comics, and I liked it a lot. And I'm so glad that this proves that we can do it.
I feel like that was Hugh Jackman Wolverine in X1 and X2, like before they started making him a deeper character.
I would agree with
X1.
that.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think X2 more so though. That his berserker scene in the kitchen was where you were the very first. I was like, oh, okay, this is cool. He knows how to do this. So yeah, if only he had the comic accurate suit back then. But no, I agree with you. It was more of the visceral, feral Wolverine.
So one comment I have. Okay,
hold on, real quick. Kassan said, "Quick question: how would Deadpool die? I mean, permanently? He's an immortal being."
And I answered him.
apparently chuck him into an active warp core on the Enterprise. Oh, that's bad.
Matter antimatter reaction, right? Okay, so this scene, while I liked it, kind of caught in my brain because it did show how weak the CGI for Disney can be when they rush things. Like when Deadpool went up on the street lamp and leaned over and shot and then did a flip off of it, that wasn't a human being at all. That didn't move at all like a human being. Like there's better ragdoll physics on an old copy of a shooter in the 90s than there is.
I'm the worst at this. I'm not good at spotting like.
Yeah,
it wasn't hard to spot. It just like it was kind of right there. But then the problem was that they covered up with all the reactions of all the other Deadpools, because a lot of them were doing the Kevin McAllister, hands on the face, going, "Oh no!" before they got the swords run through them. So it was hilarious. It was hilarious. But
I'll say two things about this.
The
Number one, there was so much going on in the scene. I couldn't tell any bad CGI. I got a little lost on which Deadpool was ours a couple times in the scene. Oh wait, real quick. Did you also notice one of them was wearing the Wrexham jersey? So that was a shout out to Ryan Reynolds. But I'm watching it, and I honestly, my thought was, he can't kill himself. All these characters are immortal. They're all gonna jump up as soon as he's done. Like, why are they acting scared? And yeah, of course, that was the joke. They get to the end, all the Deadpools are dead, and they all jump, and he's like, "Oh, all you guys healing factors?" It was like, duh.
Well, mistakes were made.
But of course, the other thing that they love besides the dog pool is Peter.
Apparently, is Peter?
Yeah, I don't get this at all.
Okay,
I don't get this a thing. I mean, I get it. He was obsessed with him back in Deadpool 2 as part of X-Force for some unexplained reason. The joke is dead. Stop it. I don't get it. I'm sorry.
And yes, the baby arms. You could what was it? I think it was Samurai Pool that had baby arms because they cut off his arm. It was
yeah. At least they didn't do a baby. You know what? In this one.
Oh, by the way, Kid Pool was voiced by Ryan Reynolds' oldest child, his son, I think, and Baby Pool was voiced by his 3-month-old or something like that. So, I mean, the whole family was on set for that scene.
Well, I mean, the Reynolds have to get paid. Blake and Ryan aren't making enough money for all of them.
At least it wasn't Jaden Smith. It's like,
yeah.
But,
yeah, I mean, so like it was obvious. I don't know, the Peter thing. It's funny, and it was like, let's nepotism, says Kassan. Let's be honest, right? Let's be 100% honest. It would have just gone on forever. Like they needed a way to end it. And having Peter show up was just a quick, funny way to end the conflict, because they needed to get down to the subway to actually end the movie. To stop Cassandra, to stop the world-ending device, and whatnot. And yeah, I mean, did either of you think Deadpool and Wolverine were actually going to die in this movie? At any point, especially when we got to the end. No, seriously,
please.
Like.
Yeah, no, I never thought that was going to happen.
Not even once.
Even with the end being that, okay, Cassandra Nova gets, I'm sorry if I'm jumping ahead, but Cassandra Nova gets the timeline erasing machine, and she's able to do her thing to make it basically like get rid of all the timelines except for the void, which she will rule. And the only way to stop her is to go down in the basement and complete some sort of circuit between these two things, comic book science stuff. But Wolverine and Deadpool are the only two that could do it because they've got healing factors. So they have to make our chain. And they, well, okay, they did do the Death of Spock though thing though.
That was good.
But you know, it's a dumb premise, but that's not what this movie's here for.
Yeah, Kassan says they said this was used as a role. I thought he would sacrifice himself again, and even Thrawn said I thought Logan was. On him, actor and Madonna. But
listen, the music annoyed me. I guess I'll say that here. Like I don't know. I was annoyed by all that.
I honestly thought it was. I for a moment thought Deadpool was going to die, but Logan was going to survive, because I was thinking like it'd be cheap to kill Wolverine again. You know, like they already did it. They already dug a bone wrapped on them. Like to kill him again, it just would have been stupid. So yeah, but then when they both, I'm like, okay, they're gonna live. They're not gonna kill both of them. Like that's not how this movie's gonna end, you know. So yeah. And of course he had the cowl on, but no shirt. I wonder whose idea that was.
Well, it has to be, you know, like they had to.
They had to?
They had
to. Is it in Hugh Jackman's contract that
I'm sure it is, just like when Peter was in the Deadpool costume, they made sure that he wasn't wearing anything to restrain his package.
Except for the nipple clamps and the chain.
Oh, for crying out freaking loud.
And then we had what's her face from Loki show up? B-15, is that the character's name? Who took a shine to Peter. I mean, I don't know. I sense a future for the.
Yeah. B-15, by the way.
Yeah, I thought it said
Bunmin
B-15.
Basaku. Yep.
I almost said B-52, and I'm like, oh wait.
It is a multiverse. You never know. So, yep.
The man worked out for months, and all we got was one shirtless scene. Kassan. I know, Kassan, but there's all the other shirtless scenes from all the other X-Men movies you can watch.
Plus, how old is he again? He's in his 50s. Like
he's
literally
55.
after. Yeah, literally after that scene, he went back. His stomach must have just gone back to dad bod within 3 seconds.
I think
because he must have been holding it for just that amount of time.
I think literally after that scene, he went over to the catering table and ate a box of donuts,
and with a burger to wash it down,
right,
because I'm sure he hadn't had carbs in like months. Yeah, so like, I mean, the ending was good. I mean, you know, it was. I do hate the trope where like when they have another movie, they take a couple, like if the protagonist was part of a couple in the first movie, they break them up in the next movie to add some tension. In this, it was less. It still kind of annoys me, but less annoying. Yeah.
Yes and no. I think I kind of didn't mind it because the first new movies were about him and Vanessa. The first one was him trying to save Vanessa from the bad guy. I can't remember the guy's name from the first movie.
Ajax.
And then
Ajax.
And then the second one was him being depressed because they had killed Vanessa, and then obviously he saves her at the end because he gets the time machine. So, you know, I mean, let's be honest, did we all kind of think going into this movie like that's why the TVA was after him, because he used the time machine in Deadpool 2? But it was like, nope.
That was my assumption. So the whole like, oh, you're special and we need you, that misses me. I think it's stupid. Again, I'm not here for that. It's a Deadpool movie. I'm here to laugh and see gratuitous violence.
And you got that.
I did. Although I will take this time to kind of lay down my I'm going to upgrade from nitpicks to kind of real fucking problems here.
Ooh.
Oh.
Okay.
And well, okay, and that's this. Like, okay, first of all, Hugh Jackman, Ryan Reynolds, I expected way more back and forth. Instead, it was Deadpool joke, Wolverine, shut the fuck up. Deadpool joke, shut the fuck up. So I expected way more back and forth. I expected, I guess, a more witty Wolverine. I get it. That's not the Wolverine we got. But that's just what I kind of wanted. So the dynamic to me between the two was not actually super good. But my biggest gripe is the fact that, like I said, you can tell this is a Disney Deadpool movie because that cast of characters that we see at the beginning and the end, I don't like them being. This movie does not have the heart of the first movies because we're not with Dopinder. We're not. Colossus and Wolverine are in the same fucking room.
Right. Yeah.
And we get nothing.
Right. Colossus should have been like, what the hell? I mean, he should have like.
There should have been like, okay, I
Aren't
get it.
you
I
dead?
wanted a fastball special. I didn't get that. Like I did kind of know into this. Like, oh, I bet you Colossus is going to be put on the shelf. But it wasn't just Colossus. It was everybody. Well, there's no Domino whatsoever. But yeah, the Vanessa thing, him and Vanessa are broke up. Like
They
that kind of
couldn't-
shit's on the last movie.
They couldn't spring for Zazie Beats for this, considering all the other paid.
I get it. But why Shatterstar? Why Shatterstar was a fucking jerk in the second Deadpool movie.
And here's the thing. I thought I know Wade messed with the timeline, and we know that he saved Peter, but I thought everybody else was still dead.
Right. But somehow, for some reason, even though Shatterstar was
But
nothing
somehow
but a jerk,
Shatterstar returned.
somehow Shatterstar returned, baby. That's right.
They did say he saved Shatterstar Peter in this movie. So
it makes no sense why he would though.
Yeah,
It
because
makes no
all
sense.
it was for a cameo. Like they could have done something. No, I agree with
Honestly,
you, Don.
the only reason I
Yeah.
came up with, Dave, get ready for the button. I don't mean to offend anybody, but this movie is a little bit on gay side, right? Like a lot of his jokes, Deadpool's jokes, or a lot of his jokes are about him doing gay shit. Which again, I don't care. And as a character, he is sexually ambiguous. But that was my only connection, Dave, to the whole Shatterstar, because the character is homosexual. So unless they're like, hey, let's just get him in here, so we got some inclusion. Okay. Who wasn't in the movie enough?
Yeah, I know.
I
And
love
Yuki, too.
Negasonic Teenage Warhead.
And Yuki, the two of them would have been great.
So there's my major complaint. I get what we're doing here. It's nice that you took the characters from those movies as his motivation. I love it, but God. And I'm sorry, and I know he's a jerk, although I can't remember exactly why. I just remember he got canceled. TJ Miller, right? Is that his name? Who played Weasel? I'm missing Weasel, man. I'm missing that character in this movie. So again,
everybody he loved was in that picture, Don. Everybody that he loved.
loving
Right?
loving TJ Miller's Weasel. You know what I have to say to that?
What are you doing? We don't do that here.
Sorry.
Wait a minute. No, wait. Something that Don said brought back something. Wasn't there some reference to what's her face from the Star Wars series who also got Carrera? What was her name? Who was in Mandalorian and got canceled?
Gina Carano.
Gina Carano. Well, wasn't there? I think there was a reference in this movie about her or something. I
didn't catch that. That would actually be funny.
No, I didn't catch that either.
So,
okay,
but that's it. That's my major stuff. It's a really enjoyable movie. I just, and even with Colossus, he wasn't like in the movie. I did appreciate they gave him like the gauntlets that they're like making his comic book. I actually like he doesn't wear a comic book accurate suit, but I'm actually, as much as I love Colossus, I'm not a super big fan of his super suit. I actually like the black, shit with the black gauntlets, but I did like that. It was a little. That's why I wore a Colossus shirt today, not Deadpool, because I wanted more Colossus. So I brought him with me today.
All right,
buddy.
I'll give you that.
New
look,
X-Men Gossip Girl with Yukio and Negasonic.
Yeah.
That's gold, man. That's comedy gold right there.
I get it. Is the X-Men fan that the other X-Men in this movie were put on the shelf when we got X-Men villains that were in the movie. In fact, we got a recast of Juggernaut, which was weird.
That
so I
makes
get
sense,
that,
though.
Especially like Colossus. You're right. Like they could have used them, but
Yeah, like you tell me Deadpool and go, hey, Colossus, our timeline's about to get fucked. I got to go do some stuff. Can you help? Like,
but I do think if this was
he wouldn't have fit in the
Deadpool
Honda
Wolverine.
Odyssey. That's the problem.
This was a
That piece
Deadpool
of crap.
Wolverine movie.
It was,
yeah.
and I appreciate it for that. I do. I appreciate the comic accurate Wolverine. I appreciate the Deadpool voice Wolverine. I do appreciate all of that. Even the montage at the end was a little bit special there as the credits roll.
Yes,
I do.
mean,
As much as I complain about the Fox X-Men movies, or at least some of them, most of them, there is really something to be said for the Fox superhero movie universe that really started it all. I mean, I know Blade did officially, but this was like the next level of, we can maybe do this as long as we put them in monochromatic uniforms.
I think that's really when they hit the point home that's what this movie was, is that montage at the end with all the stuff from the X-Men and other Fox movies, where it was like yeah, this is our goodbye to that. We never really had a goodbye, just kind of end it. We got a New Mutants movie, and then Disney bought us and we were done. So this was the chance to say goodbye. I think it would have been nicer if they could have got some of the other stars to at least, even if there was just a background character for a second, it would have been a little nicer. But I mean, I guess you can't get Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck on the set at this point. Maybe they still hate each other.
That's true. Well, he did wrong by her, so
the ending credit montage had me drinking 100% always fresh for berry juice.
And that's exactly why my title today is what it is because even with the things that Donna's pointed out, all true, and the things that I pointed out, still true. Things that I would normally not let go. There was just too much more in this. This movie really packed in a huge amount of stuff. So I'm able to give it a pass just because of the member berry juice, because that stuff does fog your brain up a little bit after a couple of sips.
Yeah, and I do really think $438 million opening weekend for an R-rated superhero movie. They left the door open at the end of this movie. This is not the last Ryan Reynolds Deadpool, Hugh Jackman. They said it. How many times have they said it before? Come on.
I know. I think we're going to get at least a break, though, because I got it, and maybe I'm just projecting, but I'm telling you, I can kind of see where Ryan Reynolds' frustration was with making this.
I could see them both coming back for Secret Wars and both dying in that.
Possible.
So, I mean, it's funny because a lot of people are saying now that this movie is set the universe was supposed to die. Now it's thriving again. And that's the X-Men universe. And
which
over
puts
here,
it on a direct course as an incursion with 616
to the Marvel universe. So that'll be our X-Men versus Avengers movie, or they're gonna get eventually, but they've never said anything about that being a movie. We'll see.
Well, they have Secret Wars, so they're gonna do incursions, the incursion somehow, right? I mean, we already know that's a thing in the universe because of Multiverse of Madness. So
Kassan asked, do you think Marvel, I probably should Marvel/Disney, will allow more R-rated movies besides Deadpool and Blade? Um, I would at this point, yeah. I mean, the only other character I could really see being R-rated is Punisher if they did a Punisher movie. But they're bringing back
Absolutely. Or they do another Blade movie with Wesley Snipes, please.
Werewolf by Night or the Midnight Raiders or
Midnight Suns.
Yeah, the Midnight Suns. Sorry, Midnight Suns or anything with Ghost Rider, right? Like
Or Wolverine movies. Like I know
true.
maybe they, but you know,
could actually show blood.
I think this movie proved that they make money, and they'll be like, okay, let's keep doing it. And
I think it proves to them. Hopefully, we make it good. It'll make money. So
yeah,
you know, look at the Marvels and things that didn't make money and understand. And it's very easy. We like Deadpool, Wolverine. We don't give a fuck about Captain Marvel or Monica Rambeau.
Yeah.
See which one made money? Not that hard.
Again, they sitting there. I'll address that in 1 second. And how will it compare comedically against the R-rated Beverly Hills on Netflix? Asked Thrawn. I don't know. I haven't watched the new Beverly Hills yet. I do want to watch that.
That's what he's talking about. I thought he was talking about the old one. I was gonna be like, I love those movies, but this one destroys all of them. But okay, it's a new thing.
I'm gonna say. Hold on. I want to say one thing to what Don just said, and he's 1,000% correct. Everyone kept saying superhero fatigue. Everyone kept saying the Marvel universe is dead. Everyone kept saying all this crap. No, they were just forcing characters down our throat that we didn't give a crap about. When they give us the characters we care about, i.e. Deadpool, Wolverine, they make a crap load of money at the box office, even for an R-rated movie, which is not supposed to make this kind of money, but it did.
Look, okay, so my counterpoint to that is, again, The Marvels was an actual good movie, had some problems, but was still way better than anything they'd put out for a couple of years before that. And it just doesn't have this is a special case. These Deadpool movies, this is a Reynolds vehicle. Like, it's got a lot of love behind it. It didn't start as Disney. It didn't have any, it may have had a little bit of interference from the studio, but they still haven't overpowered Ryan Reynolds, will is his dream of this. So, this is a special case. The Marvels was still a good movie. But they did misstep on a lot of other stuff, So, this was always going to make money, no matter how bad they stumbled. It's not. It doesn't say that. I don't think it's exactly a benediction of look. We want Deadpool. We don't want Monica Rambeau. We want this. This is just a full out. How many cameos and everything can we get into it? Of course, people are going to love it, right? For when they do a regular movie, they need to make it good. And again, The Marvels was good. It wasn't great, and it wasn't great enough to overcome the weights that were tied to its ankles because of what Marvel has done for the last couple of years. Right. So,
yeah, we'll have to disagree on this one, buddy, because a scenario or whatever, my life, me, 3 kids, wife. Am I going to drag am I going to go through that chaos? Okay.
Time is a definite factor. Yes. So I get it.
But are we going to go see Avengers and X-Men? Yes. Am I going to do all that to go see Monica Rambeau, Carol Danvers, and Kamala Khan? Hell no. So I get what you're saying. I like the Marvels. I'm not here to say it was bad, but I saw it on streaming, and that's where that stuff belongs. Expand it. Go introduce new characters, but just understand what people are going to spend their money on. But are people going to take their controlled chaos and their $100? They're not going for the Marvels. They're going to go for Iron Man. I know,
but I'm gonna say if they hadn't screwed up so bad with She-Hulk and Secret Invasion and all that other stuff, you may have gone and seen that because because if the prior movies had been really good, it would have been worth your time, but they didn't make it worth your time and all that aggravation, like you said, because they screwed stuff up. And so you have this bad taste in your mouth. And the only thing that can wash that bad taste out is a movie like this Deadpool, where it's Ryan Reynolds calling the shots, not Feige while he's under pressure because of, you know, the previous CEO telling him you got to handle 15 times as much. And you know, and it's Deadpool, like it's a beloved character. So
watch this Fantastic Four movie. Just watch.
All right,
people are going to show up for this like crazy.
I hope it's good. I hope it's good. Yeah,
I have to agree to disagree with you, John, as well on She-Hulk, because you're saying they misstepped, but that was She-Hulk from the comics. Like that is
I know, but the ending
from the comic.
The ending was disappointing.
But again, that's She-Hulk. She's fourth wall breaking, just like Deadpool, and does all that kind of stuff.
I get it.
Like
but Scorpion King CGI.
Oh my god!
What did he say? What is this?
The Marvels felt like an early Dwayne Johnson movie.
Ooh,
I know.
Which is pretty bad. His first movie was a Scorpion King. That's just fucked up looking.
One of the problems with the Marvels was, and a lot of people didn't like the Captain Marvel movie. They thought bringing in Monica Rambeau and Kamala Khan would save it. Yes, there was a lot of buzz around Miss Marvel and the Kamala Khan show. No one thought of Monica as a breakout character. And again, if you hadn't watched the shows, you didn't know who they were. And it was
if they hadn't mishandled any those things, that movie would not have had weights tied around its ankles. Like the movie itself was still good, but you had a bad taste in your mouth from previous stuff, and like you said, the characters weren't as well known. You know, the whole point of this whole genre, this whole movie thing is, you know, we want to see new stuff, but it has to be good. And if you've got a track record like Marvel right now, new stuff there's no way new stuff is going to work, even if it is, you know, good, because you don't want to be fooled again. You think you're going to go in and it's going to be bad because of the track record. So, you know, Deadpool is just one of those sure bets. It has everything you could ask for: the member berry juice, the Ryan Reynolds, that chisel jaw. You know, it's just it's there's not much you can do about it. I'll just keep it at that, because I like I said,
all we can do is hope that Marvel and Disney learn the right lessons from the movie. That, you know, and not people want Robert Downey Jr. back, but as Dr. Doom, but people love the certain characters and they want to see the characters continue on. And I don't think this is the last we're going to see them. They might just show Secret Wars and get killed, but I do think both of them will be back. All right, let's finish it up. Let's go around the room, give it a score as we normally do, and our final thoughts. You know, a score of 1 through 10. 1 through 10 adamantium katana blades, or no, 1 through 10 masturbation fists. All right. And Don, you can go first.
Well, you know, as an X-Men comic book fan, I will say that the Deadpool franchise is by far my favorite movie franchise, and that is because it's actually the best X-Men movie franchise. That's just kind of how I see it.
That's kind of sad.
My favorite character, comic accurate, being in the movies, notwithstanding. So I say all that. This gives. I have a lot of pull toward the, you know, pun intended, toward the Deadpool franchise. This is not my favorite Deadpool, but with that, I'm still going to give it. What was it again? 9. Oh shit, I forgot already. Whatever.
Give
9.
it whatever you want, man.
No, I mean it's going to be a 9 out of 10, but I forgot the gimmick already. I'm sorry, it's getting late.
You can do dog pools. I like
9
dog
dog
pools.
pulls. There you go. 9 dog pulls
Oh.
out of 10. Yes.
All right. That's good. All right, Johnny boy.
One of the review shows that I watched said that one of the more critical review shows I watched said that if you give it a couple of weeks, people are going to start to see more and more flaws in this movie. I feel like that might pan out a little bit, but this movie just has too much in it for it to be dragged down by any one little thing, like I said, with the CGI in certain places, that sort of thing. So I loved it. I thought it was hilarious. I am definitely going to see it again. I'm going to buy it on Blu-ray. I'm going to give this, I'll give it 9 Betty Whites.
Oh, I'm sad now.
Or 5 Betty Whites and 4 B. Arthurs. Yeah.
Thank you for being a friend.
Best part of the Star Wars Christmas special. B. Arthur.
Well, also because he was on his swords. B was one.
I am going to reiterate what I said at the beginning. This movie's stupid. This movie's irreverent.
Yep.
This movie
Immature.
This movie's immature. This movie craps on the Fox universe while giving an ending to it. This movie craps on Disney while welcoming these characters into the MCU. I could watch this movie on loop and smile every time. The jokes are great. As a longtime Marvel, MCU, X-Men, Fox X-Men fan, I appreciate all of the humor in it. There are things in this that, again, there's a joke, again, he says it. If you've never seen the Blade movies, you don't understand why all of a sudden Wesley Snipes goes, some motherfucker always trying to ice skate uphill. It's the stupidest line from that movie.
So fucking good.
He knows it's the stupidest line from that movie, and that's why it's repeated in this movie. And it's hilarious when he does it. I laughed so loud when that came up.
And that was his line, by the way. He's the one who put it in the script because he loved it so much.
I guarantee that was all pure Snipes. So I think give 9.5 Hulk fists so I can masturbate to it while I was on loop for all of eternity because I loved it. I love how much it made my wife happy and laugh, and she hasn't in a long time. Oh, that's good. That's nice.
Yeah.
Yes. And when Frosty says it was epic, Frosty, you got here late. I'm sorry, man. You missed all the fun. So
and I would second what you said, Dave, that you could see us on loop because one showing, one go through, you're not going to catch all of the references or yeah. So you have to see it a couple of times just to catch everything.
So, all right. Well, let's go around the room. And do you have any recommendations, or did you learn anything this week? And John, you can go first.
This week I learned that my next door neighbor is a great guy to hang out and go to the movies with while he escapes his family life for a little bit, and not that he needs to. It's just that I've got a friend around here that I can go see movies with that I don't have to drive for an hour. Sorry, Dave. To go see.
No worries.
But yeah, and as for recommendations, what is it? Oh my God, Justice League, the Justice League 3 animated movies. The third one is finally out. The Flash. Oh my God, why am I blanking here? The Final Crisis, right?
Final Crisis, yeah, that's
it. Final Crisis, the animated movies from WB. The third one's out. The second one was kind of a placeholder. The third one is really good. I would heartily recommend going out, getting all 3 or watching all 3 on Max. I think they're all available on Max now. And watching them because they are well worth it. And again, I have not. I was going to finish Suicide Squad Isekai. I didn't quite finish it, and I'm going to do that next week. But that's another thing that I can recommend because it is also good.
All right, Don.
Well, I learned this evening, and I believe it was Thrawn Kill. Hey, here we go. Yep. Also believes, like me, that Snatch is actually a superhero movie. So, yeah, I'm actually pretty elated by that. I thought that would be a pretty contested thought there. So I hope you two, I don't know if you're familiar with that movie. It's got Brad Pitt in it. Can't understand a word he says. He's going to need subtitles for that. I really hope you guys consider watching that and us talk about it on the show and, agree or yell at me for suggesting that it's a superhero.
It's got Statham in it too, and Vinnie Jones and Alan and Benicio del Toro.
Oh, it's
Holy
a
crap.
it's a great movie. It's terribly funny. So yeah, check, and I'm going to recommend it as well. Just to short and sweet here. I recommend watching Snatch
From the 2000 from 2000. Okay. I'll put that on my list.
I don't know what it's streaming on. I'll have to look that up, but check it out.
I learned this week that I learned that you can be a wrestling coach and be a tough guy, but could be too afraid to face your friends and debate about Robert Downey Jr. returning to the MCU. This was supposed to be his return, and he decided not to come up.
No.
Sorry, shaking my head at Thrawn.
Bullet Tooth Tony and Frankie Four Fingers. Boris the Blade. Is that the characters from Snatch? All right.
Those are some of the characters, yes.
Jeez.
All right. I will recommend, if you've gotten this far in the podcast and you haven't done yet, please click the subscribe button. Click that bell for notifications so you don't miss us when we go live. And please masturbate that like button because it does help with the algorithm. And if you haven't done so yet, check out our merch store, link in the description below. And consider buying a Superhero Speak t-shirt. It really does help us out. Also, head on over to superheroespeak.com where you find the podcast every week. Links to all our social media at the top of the page, comic book reviews, and so much more. And I don't really have a recommendation. We might end up talking about Snatch next week because I don't think I don't think we have anything to talk about next week. There's no movies for a couple months coming out, or maybe a month. So yeah, we might be
Star Wars goes Skeleton Crew, but I don't think that's out for a little bit.
Yeah, so
we'll
see.
We've got the East, was it Suicide Squad Isekai? We've got the Crisis on Infinite Earths. We've got a couple of other stuff we could watch.
Oh yeah, I do need to finish that Superman to see if.
We all got to finish Superman. All right, we'll finish Superman.
Itself.
We'll see if it redeems itself. All right, we got to finish season 2 of Superman. All right, well, on that note, boys and girls, as always, thanks for watching. Don't let the cape go out the door. Have a good week.